regrets any unintended impact her actions may have had. Cybersecurity experts say this week's attack on city water systems is just the tip of the iceberg.
Metro State cybersecurity professor Faisal Kalim spoke with Vanita Sakar on the WCCO Morning News and said the attacks were malicious and directed at Operation Technology.
OT deals with something called the industrial control system that actually controls these water pumps, wells, walls, power sectors, and so on.
Kalim said no water was contaminated, but it could have been much more severe.
The reason why this attack did not cause chaos was because of some of the basic training. The operators were able to switch everything to manual mode or manual control. Otherwise, it could have been, dangerous.
Ari Bergeron, News Talk 830 WCCO.
A Twin Cities nonprofit that staffed workers at several professional and collegiate sports venues must shut down as part of an agreement reached with the Minnesota Attorney General's office. Attorney General Keith Ellison says Minnesota Fundraising Initiative fraudulently claimed to be a charity, but instead acted as a staffing agency that paid so-called grants to provide cheap labor. A Target Center concert combined with Minnesota Twins baseball tonight at Target Field could create a few traffic headaches, especially for those traveling from the West Metro into downtown on 394. MnDOT's Nathan Bowie says eastbound traffic is being funneled into the two Easy Pass lanes.
That is certainly lane reductions, and that will present some delays. On top of that, there's some additional construction in St. Louis Park. That's where we're seeing some bottlenecks there. So really plan ahead and give yourself some extra time.
Just going to do a time check here, Dan.
On 394, starting around St. Louis Park.
And WCCO News Time is 3:05.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Problems over on the east side of the Metro for 94 westbound trying to make way out of Hudson, Wisconsin. It is jammed with stop-go levels of traffic is coming from Carmichael Road. Heading toward the River Bridge where traffic is down to a single lane. Looks like we're dealing with a crash that has a left lane shut down. We'll keep an eye on that for you. North 35 east, so the Parkway areas you come up from Highway 13 toward Grand Avenue, South 169, Anderson Lakes Parkway. Accident there cleared out a little while ago, but traffic remains jammed as you come down from 494. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
From the streets of New York to the cafes of Havana, Guys and Dolls is a high-rolling Tony Award-winning musical spectacular. I'll wager you're gonna love it and get a good bang for your buck. Guys and Dolls at Chanhassen Dinner Theaters. Snag those tickets. Visit chanhassendp.com.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Brought to you by the Chanhassen Dinner Theater, the must-see show Guys and Dolls on stage now. Get those tickets at chanhassendt.com. Here's WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
Another warm and humid night tonight. Check out the beautiful full moon, 72 the overnight low. Mostly cloudy tomorrow. We should stay dry for much of the day with a high up near 90. Now, western Minnesota, you'll get the first taste of some showers and thunderstorms. Likely doesn't make it to the Twin Cities till the overnight hours. Rain showers linger into Friday, cooler with a high of 80, mid-80s this weekend, and dry both days.
Partly cloudy, humid. That dew point at 67 right now. The temperature 90 at News Talk 830 WCCO.
News that leads to conversations. Conversations that matter. News Talk 830 WCCO. You're thinking about it. Jason's talking about it. There are no breaks on bold takes here. Buckle up. This is Drive Time with DeRusha. Tuned up and rolling thanks to Luther Kia of Bloomington. Now, live from Minnesota's biggest microphone, here's Jason DeRusha.
Well, it seems Wiener Wednesday is just the beginning. What is happening in our community? What is happening in St. Paul? Can we get a break from that? Somebody pass the hot dog, because this is out of control. Welcome to Drive Time. It's Jason. We ended our show yesterday with the same question that I have this morning. Around 5:45 on this show, we went through the Star Tribune's reporting on St. Paul Mayor Kaohly. She is accused of sexual harassment. The named complainant in the initial letter that started this investigation is the chief of police, Axel Henry. But he named himself as part of a collective. And just within the last hour, more information started to come out as to what the substance of these accusations are. It is easy to look at a text message about a Wednesday hot dog eating social scenario, Wiener Wednesday. Maybe the mayor was just trying to get in on a friendly terms with her new team, with the new police officers. And maybe she was just being awkward about it and didn't mean any ill will. Well. I have a number of questions for you, including, would you, and you being the people who are giving St. Paul Mayor Kaohly her the benefit of the doubt, would you extend that benefit of the doubt in this scenario to a male mayor? 2, does your belief as to what should happen here, does it change when you hear the new reporting from KARE 11 reporter Lou Raguse? This video Lou posted just about 20 minutes ago.
St. Paul Mayor Kaohly allegedly commented on the breasts of a female deputy chief with the St. Paul Police Department while they were in a locker room together, then asked that employee her opinion of the mayor's own breasts. These new details I've confirmed with rock-solid sources with knowledge of the sexual harassment investigation currently underway against Mayor Herr. In the deputy chief's complaint, she said that the comments were unwanted and played a role in her leaving the St. Paul Police Department.
The mayor of St. Paul should resign. 651-461-9226. She should resign. Hurts me to say this. I like Mayor Herr. We were the first major media organization to give an interview. We had her on the show because I thought what she had to say for the future of St. Paul was worth listening to. And when she won, she asked me if I thought she was going to win, and I said I did think she was going to win because St. Paul was ready for a mayor that was going to address some of the civil disorder problems in the city of St. Paul, address it head on. They wanted a change. This is not the change that anyone wanted. Kaohly Herr is not a novice to leadership. She was a state representative. She's not a child. She's 53 years old. I am 51. There is no way that I would even jokingly ask a subordinate, like, you're in the locker room, you're going to compare your Wiener Wednesday? You're going to ask about someone's breast? The judgment here, if these accusations are true, because these are just accusations, but the judgment here blows my mind. I cannot believe how stupid the mayor of St. Paul is if this is what she did. What an opportunity to improve your city. The first Hmong woman to be a mayor of St. Paul. And this letter starting the investigation was sent on April 1st. She was just sworn in January. 3 months? You couldn't get through 3 months? She's got to go. Got to go. To me, there's no question about it. And the gender scenario here does not matter. Because you're a woman sexually harassing a guy or a woman sexually harassing. Kaohly Herr seems to have no particular predilection about which gender she says weird stuff to. To think this deputy chief, if what Lou is reporting is true, disappointing, outrageous, scandalous, shocking, I don't know. Name your word, but I think she should resign. 651-461-9226. Jason, relax. I say let her resign after our president resigns. I'd love to dissect just the absolute mental bankruptcy of people who run that narrative, because it's been popping all day on the WCCO Radio Facebook page, where we posted our little clip from the show last night. If your response to anything in the world is, what about Donald Trump? You're an idiot. You're an idiot. You're refusing to think. You're refusing to engage on the topic. You're deflecting to something else. If you would look at your children when you're trying to discipline your children for something, and your child said, well, and look at Trump, would you say, like, well, you know what? You know what, son? Good point. Come on. Come on. Now, I don't know what is taking St. Paul so long. What's taking so long? If they hired an outside law firm in April, and it's almost August, there are text messages on all of this. Why did it take so long to come out? Why is this so difficult to get your arms around? Earlier today, I told Dan, I said, you know, if I were the mayor, what I would have done is, as soon as this letter was sent on April 1st, I would have gotten out in front of it and said, gone public and said, yeah, I did send the Wiener Wednesday text message. Yes, I did edit a meme with, by inserting a photo of a St. Paul police officer that I was sending the "can't wait to have wieners with you" text. I did put that officer's face on the meme. And I'm so sorry. Like, I was just trying to joke around, trying to fit in with the culture, and I just totally screwed it up. Now, I will say, as I said that out loud, I realized how idiotic it sounded. Do the mayors have nothing else to do but edit people's faces onto memes? Like, what is happening? What is happening? You just cannot make it up. You can't make it up. Just absolutely amazing. Jason, it seems very difficult for a high-profile person to avoid sex scandals. If she had an affair with somebody, I think it would be more understandable. I'm sorry. I do. I think it would be more understandable. This is so bizarro, so childish, and so offensive. It's not just, ha, 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 look at this funny thing. It's not. When you are in charge of people, when you are supervising people, when you are the chief executive of a city, you don't need to take the training course to figure out, like, probably shouldn't send the skeezy, pervy, yuck, yuck, yuck text. Texter says, how much are St. Paul taxpayers paying for these lawyers? Nope, she seems to resign. Yes. I think she needs to resign. She either needs to resign or needs to come forward with a pretty massive explanation and fast. Because there's serious stuff to be done. And we tried to get the mayor of St. Paul on the show yesterday before all this news broke, because we wanted to talk about the clearing of the homeless encampment that is scheduled to begin on Monday. An action that I'm very supportive of. We have let civil disorder and societal disregard go on for too long. Empathy and compassion is my default, and I do have a limit. I think we all do. And so what the city of St. Paul was going to do, I mean, there's a lot going on. If you're the mayor, you're dealing with, what, a $25 million budget deficit, which perhaps not coincidentally, part of the solution to that was going to involve some budget cuts for the police department as well. Is that why this came out now? I don't know. I just find it very strange that it's taken this long for it to come out. But to me, you either better defend yourself or you should step aside, because the future of our city, the future of St. Paul is now. There's no time to be wasted. And I'm sad to say this is a tremendous waste of such a good opportunity. Lots of texts coming in. Your calls welcome as well. 651-461-9226. What do you want to say? Do you think the mayor should resign? Is this enough for you? For me, it is. Drive time back in just a minute.
Drive Time with DeRusha is fueled by Luther Kia of Bloomington. Always online at lutherkiaofbloomington.com.
All right, it's officially the most wonderful time of the year at Staples. They've got back-to-school supplies as low as 25 cents, up to 40% off select tech, 20% off for teachers, and more. Check out all the deals at staples.com/back-to-school. Staples, that was easy.
Lisa Damuth, a Republican who delivers results.
And I led the charge in rooting out billions in fraud and waste.
To stop the fraud, you need a governor who won't back down. Lisa Damuth gets the job done. Lisa Damuth understands, to make Minnesota affordable again, we must fight fraud. Lisa Damuth knows, to create good-paying jobs for Americans, we must stop payments to illegal aliens.
I led the way to end taxpayer funding of health care for illegal immigrants.
In the legislature, Republican Lisa Damuth fought the fraudsters. Now, Lisa Damuth's running for governor.
Let's start our Minnesota comeback right here and right now.
America's PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising. Paid for by America's PAC and not authorized by any other candidate or committee. AmericasPAC527.com.
In a world that's racing a mile a minute, a split-second distraction can change everything. I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. Every day we see too many people, heads buried in their phones, unaware of the dangers they're in. Texting and driving isn't just reckless, it's playing Russian roulette with your life and the lives of others. In just 4 seconds of distraction, you've driven the length of a football field. Is there any text message that's worth your life, that's worth the lives of others? I've been fighting for the rights of the injured for over 30 years, but I'd rather you never meet me in a courtroom. So hear me now, stop texting and driving. Pay attention. Value your lives and the lives around you. And if you won't, know this, at Bradshaw & Bryant, we're relentless. We won't back down. We bring justice to those that need it.
Find Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
With Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw & Bryant.
Let's make this summer your best summer ever. Jason here for Luther Kia of Bloomington, and Luther Kia Bloomington wants to upgrade your ride. Outstanding prices. $399 a month. Sign and drive lease offers on Seltos, Sportage, Nero, and K5. Get out of here. Plus $750 owner loyalty cash on the stunning Kia Telluride and the Telluride Hybrid. Best cars for the money on the market. Check out their brand new facility, now open at 35W and 494. Luther Kia of Bloomington.com.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2026 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just...
I like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Wait, everything on this IHOP value menu is just $6?
I told you it was amazing. A huge plate of pancakes, bacon, and eggs is just $6.
Wow.
There's also French toast, a ham and cheese omelet, and oh, they got a BLT and fries now.
Okay, we're coming here every day.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Feast for just $6 with the IHOP value menu. $7 in some locations, available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Where curiosity hits the gas. Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
So much response to the scandal in St. Paul. You know the old saying, keep St. Paul boring. This is what St. Paul people want. They want boring St. Paul. I do not think this is what most people in St. Paul want. Joe on YouTube says, should she resign? Joe says no. Jonathan asks, is there one political person who's not a crook or a sexual predator? On Facebook, Marley says, thank you for showing good sense and wisdom. Frank says, I once told a couple of people a stupid joke and a coworker wasn't happy with the joke and a day later fired. So here, and I do understand the concern that we're too sensitive, that it used to be you could make an off-color joke and you could have some fun at work. She's the mayor. She's the mayor. Is it okay for the mayor in the workout room to say to another female subordinate, hey, your breasts look amazing. What do you think of my breasts? No, not okay. Never was okay. If a guy said it, if a male mayor said it, there'd be protests outside City Hall. Let's be serious. Now, 20 years ago, if a male mayor said it, I think there would be more of a like, yuck, well, come on. Frank points out today there's zero tolerance. I do think, I think in a lot of workplaces there is zero tolerance. And you know what you can do as a grown-up? Adjust. The world has changed. You have to adjust. Are there places you can make off-color, sexist, sexual, pervy jokes? Yes, it's called the bar. Go back to the bar, people. The corner bar. Go to your garages.
Yeah, because the mayor wouldn't stand out in a bar anywhere, would you?
You can make... There are plenty of places to make those jokes. People are making those remarks on Facebook, on social media. There are plenty of places to be a sort of skeezy, harassing human. But the mayor's office should not be one of them.
You said it, and we've seen this multiple times in comments and different texts and stuff that, 20 years ago, you could say something like, yeah, but it's not 20 years ago, right? And everybody that's aware now in positions of power knows it's not 20 years ago. We've also seen some folks in the comments talking about cultural context. Is there a potential cultural difference because, she grew up in the Hmong culture? She's been in state government for a long time prior to running for mayor. She's been around government culture long enough where you have to know that a boss can't say these kinds of things to subordinates, again, allegedly. You have to know that. To me, there's no excuse. If what is being reported is true, you're 1,000% correct. She's going to have to resign. I don't know if there's any way to explain this. Now, we don't know for sure that the stuff that's being reported is 100% true.
Correct. Oh, yeah.
Lou Ragoose is a darn good reporter, and he's saying he's got rock solid sources on this stuff. But again, let's see what happens. But it wouldn't shock me a bit if we get a resignation here, even by the end of the week.
Texters, I can tell you guys don't work on a demolition crew because
she's the mayor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
Yes.
But this isn't a demolition crew.
Context. Another texter says, Jason, you make comments weekly that are sketchy and can be sexually driven as well. And that is true. But do I make sexually harassing comments to anybody who works here? No. Do I? To you? Dan's thinking about it.
No, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. No, you don't. And again, the context is entirely
context
different.
Matters.
And there's nobody here that directly reports to you.
Yeah, that's true.
Even me. You're not my boss. We're partners. We work on this show together. But you've never said anything to me, A, that's even remotely inappropriate, and B, I don't report to you. It's a different power dynamic when you have a boss and somebody that reports directly to them.
Explain and justify or resign. Full stop, says a texter. That's my view. I am open to the fact that there's a reasonable explanation here, but my opening is pretty small. It's pretty small. Another texter, YouTube commenter, says it's almost like we're being taught to be offended, but I think the mayor needs to speak out about this and not hide and just move on. Where I think some of you are arguing a different point, Instead of saying that you're missing the point, I'm going to say you're arguing a different point. When you are the mayor of a city, you are the CEO in charge of hundreds of different people. You can have an impact on hundreds of different people's careers. It is not the same as two equal coworkers. And I think a lot of us have taken those sort of corporate sexual harassment training quizzes where, frankly, a lot of this stuff wouldn't. Do you think this would be acceptable? Think about your coworker, and you know there are some coworkers that you are friends with and that you can joke around like that. You also know you have other coworkers where it's like, probably not going to send a meme with their face superimposed over the swaddled baby, like in a hot dog bun, saying, can't wait to have wieners or whatever it was. Like, we don't have to bend ourselves all over the place to try to justify this thing. Willie Mike is in New Hope. Willie, thanks for calling. What do you want to say about all this?
Yeah, I'll say there, fellas. Before my major point, I was just going to say, do you think that Wiener Wednesday will overtake Hump Day as the way to designate the middle of the week?
I mean, I'm very pro hot dog. I'm pro cased meats in general, so I'm not opposed.
But here's the major thing. Don't be such a prude, you people. I think she's just taking Justin Timberlake's advice, bringing sexy back.
You think that's? Well, I don't know, Willie. I'm not sure about this. Kelly says, for all the people saying, aren't there any good people in power anymore? Yes, there are many. And I totally agree. There are many. In fact, most are pretty good people. They don't make any headlines. In this case, she says, yes, Mayor Her should resign. Sucks, man. I'm not happy about it. 100% disappointed. But my goodness. Oof. Texter says, Chad and I are annoying with our nudge, snarky off-color comments, but I can switch the radio channel. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, no.
And I just would like to take a moment to defend my off-color comments. Do you really want, I guess you have a choice, right? Because we have to have a break from, nonstop serious conversation. Do you want, do certain percentage of people would like to go back to, 1978 style yuckity yuck humor? And if enough people want that, I'll start studying up, I'm just doing what comes natural to me. And that is a minor amount of skeeziness. It's all with a wink, not a creepy wink. It's tough out here. Let's break. Tracy Perlman has raised a very interesting topic for her segment. Oprah said that young people need to stop asking for work-life balance. They got to shut up because maybe they should earn work-life balance first. Ooh, very interesting. We'll see what Tracy thinks about what Oprah had to say. We'll see what you think, too, when we come back.
Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Jason here for a wardrobe refresh opportunity for you. Not that you need it, but maybe you want it. That's what JH & Sons is there for. It's Jason for the awesome family-owned team at JH & Sons at the Galleria in Edina. In fact, the shirt I'm wearing right now is from JH & Sons. And it's a kind of light-colored, breathable polo shirt. Great if you're hanging out outside. I was walking around earlier today. It's hot out there, and this shirt felt fantastic. It also looks terrific. JH & Sons can find a clothing solution for your lifestyle. So if you're looking for a date night, you're looking to up your game, maybe you're single, you're trying to impress somebody, maybe you're married, and you're trying to match the style of your wife or your partner. They can help you with that. Maybe you're going back to work, though, back to the office, and you need a new suit. If you maybe haven't been back in the office for a couple of years, it's time to freshen it up. J.H. & Sons brings amazing clothing, but the key differentiator for me is the people. Amazing service. Chuck, Bryce, Dean, Alicia. Jeff Halberstadt has done something special. I want you to experience it. Get to the Galleria in Edina or sign up for their email list, their VIP email list at jhandsons.com.
For 3 months, we've all heard, wait until they get healthy. Wait until the schedule gets easier. Wait until July. Well, it is July. The stretch run starts now.
Larnach shoots it through the left side, and there's your base hit. Trevor Larnach has given the Twins their first lead of the ball game.
Every pitch, every hit, every impactful moment happens right here.
Deep right field for Roden. That ball is off the wall, and the Twins will win it.
Your home for Minnesota Twins baseball. News Talk 830 WCCO.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group.
Hello, my friend.
Brands that includes RepairClinic.com.
How goes?
Appliance
Good. How are you?
Solution company.
Couldn't be better if I tried.
An international brand.
Jason's on
For
fire today.
AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another
The textures
firm.
want Canon back,
American
so I don't
Eagle
know what
helped
that
take our
means.
technology to
I'm-
a whole new level.
I'm here
Digital
for it.
marketing,
I
software
will be
development, and
feisty.
business
Just play
insight
feisty with
into
him
our
today.
key markets.
Love it. Love it.
Appliances,
Be with you here
HVAC,
in about
and
3-4
outdoor
minutes.
power equipment.
Perfect. I'm ready
And
when
did
you
so
are.
both on
Thank
time
you.
and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance. And now we're customizing this ad for your morning commute to wake you up, which could help your driving. Science says that stimulating the brain increases alertness. So here's a pop quiz. How many months have 28 days? What gets wetter as it dries? What has keys but can't open locks? If you don't want to hear the answers, turn off this Liberty Mutual ad now. 12 months, a towel, piano. Enjoy being fully alert.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Well, it's official. My friends have all switched to Pure Talk because I told them they could save a bunch of money on a super reliable high-speed network with unlimited data. And because they're my friends, they trust me. As for the rest of you, well, Pure Talk understands that even though you might like me, you're not just going to take my word for it, nor should you. For that reason, and for a very limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited plan that normally sells for $65 a month. Think of it like a test drive, a super simple way to save $150 while you kick the tires on Pure Talk's blazing fast network, and a fine way to see for yourself why I switched from big wireless, along with a few 100,000 of my closest friends. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and be connected to Pure Talk's friendly U.S. customer service team. Again, dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Slow down to try and make your way through Hudson, Wisconsin. Had a crash that had traffic down to a single lane 94 westbound the St. Croix River Bridge, but the left lane has been reopened, damage done. Traffic-wise, you're still jam-packed at Carmichael Road. Traveling 35E northbound, got some slowdowns past Shepherd Road. Southbound slows, you come down from Randolph into the work zone. Got some slowdowns at 394 eastbound Penn into downtown Minneapolis. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
B&M Tree Services, certified arborists offering tree trimming, storm cleanup, and full tree removal with professional service at prices you can afford. Call 1-800-569-9034 or visit bnmtree.com. Trusted, professional, reliable.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
CCO forecast brought to you by B&M Tree Service. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
Another warm night tonight, only cooling back to 72 under a partly cloudy sky. We'll see more clouds tomorrow, more elevated smoke from those wildfires out west. 90 the afternoon high. Showers and thunderstorms will be racing across western Minnesota, likely not getting here till late tomorrow night. That rain lingers into Friday. That'll keep us cooler with a high near 80. We dry out this weekend, less humid, couple nice looking days with highs in the 80s.
92 degrees in downtown Minneapolis. It's going to be a toasty one at Target Field tonight on CCF.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha.
He's known for the slow burn. He wanted to keep it organic, and I'm still begging for it. More controversy.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
That music means it's Tracy Perlman time. Wednesday, it's Tracy time. How you doing, Tracy?
I'm good. How are you?
You can watch our conversation on video if you stream us on YouTube or on the WCCO Radio Facebook page. Tracy, you brought up such a good topic for us to get into today.
Good.
And it started with Oprah, who is... What is Oprah doing on podcasts, by the way? Like, if you're Oprah and maybe Keke Palmer works for Oprah. Is that possible? I don't understand what she was doing.
Part of that podcast, but Keke had Michelle Obama on her podcast too. She's been having some really good guests. But I think she's just giving advice, doing her thing.
Why not? I guess. So Oprah was on this podcast, and well, she got into the issue of work-life balance. And I have no work-life balance. I am typical Gen X. Dan, you are Gen X.
Correct.
Your work-life balance is pretty good.
It's not bad. I do okay.
Tracy, where are you on work-life balance?
I am a recovering news person. Let's remember that. So I am getting better.
Getting better?
I'm getting better. I try to put my phone down, but yeah, I get better.
So Tracy's the youngster. Dan and I are 50 plus. And Oprah...
Why you gotta call Dan out like that?
You know.
It's all right. I own it.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's fine.
He just likes the fact that he's like 6 months younger than me, so he can pretend like he's the baby.
Yeah. I mean, pretty much from noon until 9 p.m., I think I'm the youngest guy on the air. Pretty good. That's why I had to leave TV. I was no longer the young kid. I was the old guy. I had to go somewhere else so I wouldn't be the old guy. AM radio was the only choice. All right, so here's what Oprah had to say about work-life balance.
This is what I say to my girls who are, graduating from college and starting their first jobs, and they're talking to me about, work-life balance. At this point, I go, you ain't had no work-life balance at 22, 23?
That's tearing us up, by the way. We're all trying to look for the balance. It ain't there.
No.
It ain't there. It's tearing us up.
It's not there. It's not there. You're not supposed to have it. You're supposed to lay in the work.
Is Oprah right, Tracy?
Yes. Louder for the people in back, Oprah. Absolutely. That is the time to put your work in. That is when you are supposed to be grinding and showing up and learning and saying thank you and doing all that. I think people look at the older generation and they're like, oh, I can go home and rest and do all that. I'm not saying you need to be working around the clock, but the idea that like at 8:55 you are not going to be working consistently is not, in my opinion, is not what you should be doing. I think you have to put the time in, work hard, earn your stripes. And then when you're older, you actually earn that break. You understand what it means to take a break because you know when you need to clock in and clock out.
Let me ask the listeners, do you think that if you're in your 20s, you essentially have no right to work-life balance? 651-461-9226. The truth is, Oprah didn't really get her big break as the host of AM Chicago until she was like 31. It came in her 30s. So the 20s were for work. I do find it interesting, and I have mixed feelings, because the way I did it was nonstop work from age 18, probably. And I don't know that it served me well for the person that I become, but it also way overserved the people I was working for. So I believe in retrospect that like when I was busting my butt in Davenport, Iowa for $9 an hour as a reporter, yes, that helped me become a better reporter, but it also was exploitive of the employer at that time because they knew they would get 1 million applicants. And so they could just pay you crap. And I do think the younger generation today is saying they're not saying they want the same work-life balance or the same deal that those of us in our 40s and 50s have. What they're saying is like, I'm not going to work this hard if you're not going to pay me. Why should I work that hard for you?
They're also saying I'm not going to be available. And that's just not realistic for some jobs. When I was a server at a sports bar, I was on and I was off. There's no taking work home.
Right.
There are now jobs, and I'm not going to say necessarily even mine, but when there are jobs where you might have to check your email at night, you may have to take a phone call during the day. I have had colleagues here and at WCCO when I was there that were like, nope, not answering the call on the weekend. And it's like, well, that's your job. And with reporting, it's different. I think there's this idea of like, I'm called to this business, but like, you mean to tell me that if a doctor or a nurse or an EMT is out at a park and they see somebody wipe out on rollerblades, they're going to be like, no, sorry, I'm not on the clock right now. I'm not going to help you. Like, but people do that with their office jobs. And I think sometimes the appropriate thing is to answer the call, make sure that other people can answer their work, do their thing. It drives me bonkers that they think it's 5 o'clock. Time to check out and go. No, sometimes working a salary job means that you're staying a little later and you're going to go home a little earlier other days.
John is in St. Paul at 651-461-9226. John, is Oprah right? Do the 20-somethings have no real stake, no real ability to claim work-life balance?
I don't think they know the definition of work-life balance. I think people see it differently. So when I look at work-life balance, I look at make sure I'm putting some time aside for myself. You know, if an emergency comes up, I work for a service company, okay? When an emergency comes up, if a colleague calls me and needs help, I'm going to go out and help them. But I think work-life balance to me is making sure that I'm putting that, you know, when I have that time, you know, don't work all the time.
Right.
When I have that time, go ahead and take the break and, you know, take some time off. Now, company I'm at, I've been with them for 7 years. They emphasize work-life balance. They don't want you working all the time. So they encourage us to do stuff outside of work. Now I work like 4/12. I work a lot, but I have Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. So I put time aside for myself. But if somebody calls an emergency, I'm just not going to say, oh, I'm not working, I'm not coming to help you. I'll go help them. You know, that's how I see it.
John, thank you. I think John is in about the same place as we are on this, Tracy. I'm extending a little more grace for the fact that the young people, you know, they have more debt than we had. College was more expensive. They're not able to afford housing in the same way that maybe we were able to afford it. So with all of the other stressors coming down on that generation, I can understand why they're saying, I got to build a wall somewhere because everything else is kind of crushing in on me. And so the only thing that they feel they have control over is, well, I'm only working 8. I'm only working 5 days. I'm only working 8 hours.
And I do understand as the company, we're paying you for 8 hours of work. You should do 8 hours of work, not 9, not 10. But that feeling of like, well, I'm owed this and I'm due this work. That's the part that bothers me. I don't mind answering my emails late at night. I don't mind coming home from work, finishing up a couple things I didn't finish in the office. But I've had colleagues tell me, hey, you know what? It kind of stresses me out when at 10 o'clock I'm getting an email from you. Okay. So now I set it to send at 9 a.m. the next morning. She'll get it when she gets in. Fine. But to me, like that's me. It's this thought of like, I can't possibly work an extra 15 minutes. You're not paying me for that. And it's like, no, do your job. Are you doing your job? That's what I
Yeah.
need you to do. Also,
I had a couple co-anchors that maybe had that approach over the years, Tracy. I'm not going to name any names, but
the other thing that I think is that's upsetting.
well, hang
people-
on to that. Hang on to that. Let's break. Tracy's got more. You've got more text. 651-461-9226. Talking work-life balance with Tracy Perlman here on CCO.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Real estate is maybe not the business for you if work-life balance is the number one factor in your life, at least when you work with the Chris Lindahl real estate team. Know that they're going to be working for you around the clock. It's Jason here for Chris Lindahl, my friend. You know that the world is full of uncertainty, interest rate, a decision coming down today from the Fed. We're going to talk about it in 40 minutes. But those interest rates have been up. They've been down. They certainly haven't been as attractive as many buyers would want. And so if you're a seller, you might want to offload all the stress to Chris Lindahl. You've probably seen him handing out those big red checks to people in your area who are saying yes to that guaranteed cash offer. What people do with Chris is you can trade in your house just like you trade in your car. And you're trading uncertainty, you're trading stress, and you're getting speed, you're getting convenience. So listen, I worked with Chris a couple years ago. I've known him for a long time. It's no surprise to me that he's handing out so many big red checks because so many Minnesotans are saying, don't want to gamble, don't want to do the work, don't want to deal with all the stuff, don't want to see my house sit on the market for month after month, and maybe that's you. Go to chrislindahl.com, top of the page. There's a smart seller's guide. It's free. Fill it out. See if the big red check makes sense to you. chrislindahl.com.
Hey, John, why so glum? I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. Mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
On BritBox, there is a place where stories twist like cobblestone roads. Grand manners hide secrets, and stakes are higher than seaside cliffs. Find places worth getting lost in on BritBox. Watch new series like The Other Bennett Sister from the world of Jane Austen and A Woman of Substance starring Golden Globe winner Brenda Blethyn. If you want to get away, you're in the right place. Stream the best of British TV on BritBox. Free trial at BritBox.com.
And Doug. Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons. And lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen. And oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live. And you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
New Game Plus with Oxy makes your laundry smell incredible and fights stubborn smells, like the ones your dog Biscuit brought into your freshly made bed last night. But you washed that all away with Game, and now you're drifting asleep to the scent and sound of waves. Nope, that's the dog licking your ear.
Biscuit.
It just might be our greatest scent ever, now with odor fighting power. New Game Plus with Oxy.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
If you're only good to your new friends, you're not going to have any old ones. Straight Talk gets it. That's why new and existing customers get free 5G phones on Verizon's 5G network. Pretty simple, really. You keep good people by being good people.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
Let's make this summer your best summer ever. Jason here for Luther Kia of Bloomington, and Luther Kia Bloomington wants to upgrade your ride. Outstanding prices, $399 a month, sign and drive lease offers on Seltos, Sportage, Nero, and K5. Get out of here. Plus $750 owner loyalty cash on the stunning Kia Telluride and the Telluride Hybrid. Best cars for the money on the market. Check out their brand new facility, now open at 35W and 494. Luther Kia of Bloomington.com.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Highway 61 northbound at Burns Avenue crashed into the right lane. Looks like it may have just cleared out of the way, but things are already jammed up as we make our way through that stretch because it had been blocking for a while. South 169 is jammed up, 494 as you head down toward Pioneer Trail. Activity off to the right side yet as move past Anderson Lakes Parkway, not helping. If you're going to be traveling west 94, that's jammed up to Hudson, Wisconsin as you make your way between Carmichael Road and the St. Croix River. Terry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Jordana Green here. I pray you and your family are always safe. But if there's ever a time where you need an advocate after an accident, let Mike Bryant of Bradshaw and Bryant help you. He will work with and for you in dealing with the insurance company. Call 800-770-7008 today. Bradshaw and Bryant, seeking justice for the injured.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Forecast is for more heat. It's going to be a warm one out at Target Field tonight. Low of 72. Tomorrow we get to 90. Friday is the day of change. Rain showers expected. Could be a lot of rain on Friday. The high will be 80. Cooler and less humid this weekend, but cooler is a relative term. We're still looking at mid-80s this weekend. Right now, it is 91 on CCO.
The ride home deserves better conversation. Drive Time with Garusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
I would run through a fire just to be by your side. If your heart's on the line, you could take mine. It's crazy, but it's true. There's nothing.
All right, Tracy Perlman stirring up a hornet's nest here, talking about what Oprah said when it comes to work-life balance, sort of this idea that 20-somethings are asking for it without earning it, that they don't understand that you got to build a foundation before you can build the upper floor. And that was sort of the point of Oprah's statement, that in your 20s, you're still figuring out what work is. I'll tell you, Tracy, most of the texts are saying that people in their 20s barely put in a full 8-hour day, and that they're on their phone, they're working from home, they're doing side projects on their side hustles. The other line of commentary is from people who feel like they've been taken advantage of, that by first you start answering some emails after work, then you get asked to do more work than you could possibly do in a day, then you get asked. And I think like that's something I know, Dan, that you have talked about, that fear that if you give an inch, they take a mile.
Yeah, well, I mean, fear that's probably well justified by history, right?
Yeah.
I mean, look, I think there's two things. One, we have to remember, that just because this is how we approach things or how we were taught or how we came up, that there's no reason that it has to be that way for everybody else. The other point would be that, look, we're kids of boomers who are kids of people that were in the Depression. And so I think there's been this ripple effect of, hey, you're just lucky to have a job, that has sort of been this vibe that's been handed down. And I think young folks now are just saying, wait a minute, no, my employer is just as lucky to have me as I am to have the job. This needs to be much more an equal thing. I think that's an interesting thing to discuss and figure out what does that look like in the real world.
Tracy, before the break, you have one more point you were going to make.
Yeah, I was going to say the reason people are so mad too about this is Oprah doesn't have to work anymore, right? She's kind of the queen of like, treat yourself, listen to your heart, have your feelings, do you. And then she's like, but now she's telling me I got to work. She's telling me I got to work hard. And I think people are upset about that.
That she's the messenger. They're getting distracted by her as the messenger.
Correct. And not looking around and going, should I be working harder? Is there a point here?
It's interesting. I think it's very interesting. Like it is.
I'm so excited. I was ready to talk to you guys about this.
Texter wants me to name which co-anchors were lazy.
Oh, shoot. There's the music. We got to go.
It's not Frank Vassalero. A texture is
or Queen Amelia.
Nope, not those guys. Continental Diamond time check. It's 3:58. News is straight ahead.
Wake me up before you go.
You know that feeling when your body is tired, but your brain just won't shut off? We've all been there. Jordana here. That's where CBN comes in. CBN, short for cannabinol, is a naturally occurring hemp cannabinoid known for its relaxing, sleepy effects. Think of it like the lights dimming signal for your brain. While CBD helps you stay calm, CBN helps your body know it's time to rest. That's why we call it CB Night Night. Mini Leaf Night and Night Plus Sleep Gummies combine CBN, CBD, and CBG to help you fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer, and then wake up feeling refreshed. Go to minileaf.com, MINNELEAF.com, minileaf.com, the home of Minnesota's best legal products. And tell them Jordana sent you.
What do parents think of back to school at Staples, where 24-pack Crayola crayons are just 50 cents?
Staples has folders, notebooks, and pens at great prices.
I'm smiling from ear to ear.
It's the most wonderful time.
Mom, I missed the bus of the year.
It's a wonderful time at Staples, where school supplies start at just 25 cents. Staples. That was easy. Visit your local Staples today or shop online and in the app. Ends 9/12. Exclusions apply.
At Wealth Enhancement, we believe wealth is in the details. Our team of trusted advisors craft personalized solutions to help you achieve your financial goals. Tune in to the Your Money Show on News Talk 830 WCCO every Sunday from 8 to 9 a.m. or go to wealthenhancement.com to connect with one of our advisors.
News Talk 830 WCCO, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The U.S. and Iran breaking the brief pause with renewed strikes. Iran targeting U.S. sites in Jordan overnight and launching drone strikes against a U.S. natural gas facility in Egypt. At the White House, President Trump vowing a response.
We're going to hit him very hard. I mean, I can actually say that because in that there's very little they can do about it. It was a different group than we're dealing with. They've already apologized, but we got to smack them a little bit.
The war with Iran creating more uncertainty for oil and gas prices. The Federal Reserve Board voting 9-3 to leave interest rates unchanged for now. Fed Chair Kevin Warsh says the U.S. economy is showing some resilience.
The policy statement conveys just the facts. It's steering clear of forecasting, a choice we consider especially prudent at these uncertain times. Uncertainty, however, does not mean a lack of clarity.
On Capitol Hill, Anthony Fauci appearing before a Senate hearing on the COVID response chaired by Republican Rand Paul, the former medical advisor to President Trump during his first term, and also headed the White House coronavirus task force for the Trump and Biden administrations. ABC's Jay O'Brien says Dr. Fauci received a preemptive pardon from Biden and declined to answer questions.
President Biden's preemptive pardon, in the words of the chairman of this panel, Rand Paul, who would be the one making any kind of criminal referral to the Justice Department, doesn't cover future actions. It only is retroactive from the date the pardon was issued. And Fauci seemed to acknowledge that as well. So what Fauci was saying in his opening statement there is he believes that Chairman Paul is bent on putting him, in Fauci's words, behind bars.
A federal jury has found Hadi Matar guilty on all charges in the 2022 stabbing attack of author Salman Rushdie. Rushdie was slashed multiple times and lost sight in his right eye during an outdoor speaking engagement. Matar is already serving a 25-year sentence for a state conviction. You're listening to ABC News.
Minnesota's trusted voice. Every hour. Let's get you caught up with what's happening now on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Partly cloudy, humid, 90 degrees at 4:02. I'm Laura Oakes. Advocates for the homeless in St. Paul are trying to stop the sweeps.
Local organizers and unhoused residents are speaking out against plans put together by city leaders to dismantle local tent settlements, with specific concern about the upcoming August 5th evictions at Pig's Eye Park. Lilly with Stop the Sweeps Coalition criticized the administration's approach, saying it lacked meaningful community input.
That plan, so-called, of Mayor Hers would criminalize those who don't accept their barrier-filled, roach-infested, always full housing options by arresting those who attempt to start new encampments.
St. Paul city leaders have defended their plans to clear the Pig's Eye Park encampment, arguing that the site is deeply unsafe. In downtown St. Paul, I'm Taylor Rivera. News Talk 830 WCCO.
The encampment closures are on the front burner for St. Paul Mayor Kaohly Her's office, which is also grappling with news that the mayor herself is being investigated for allegedly sexually harassing city employees. Police Chief Axel Henry filed a formal complaint against Mayor Herr earlier this year, alleging she made inappropriate sexual comments toward him and other city employees through a series of text messages and comments that his attorney says go beyond isolated incidents. A spokesman for Mayor Herr says the city will not comment on an active investigation, but says the mayor has deep respect for city employees and regrets any unintended impact her actions may have had. Elon Musk's AI company suing Minnesota over a new state law set to take effect on Saturday.
XAI, which runs the AI chatbot Grok, accuses Minnesota's new law banning notification technology as a violation of the First Amendment due to its content-based ban on free speech and the tools of visual expression. DFL State Senator Erin May Quaid wrote the legislation and addressed the lawsuit in an Instagram post.
Minnesotans do not want to be victimized by big tech who can make them naked.
XAI faces multiple lawsuits regarding Grok's ability to generate non-consensual sexualized deepfakes and child sexual abuse material.
Our law only protects people from being victims of image-based sexual abuse. And it protects us from companies who profit off of image-based sexual abuse.
Mark Fry, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Minnesota U.S. Senator Amy Klobuchar and two other senators introducing a bill that would help state, local, and tribal governments monitor worsening air pollution caused by wildfires. The bill would direct the EPA to expand grant and loan programs to allow those municipalities to purchase and operate low-cost portable air sensors that would measure and detect harmful pollutants. The goal is to help leaders make better decisions for public health and wildfire response. South Metro traffic could be dicey tonight as thousands make their way to the Mystic Lake Amphitheater in Shakopee for the first of two nights featuring Chris Stapleton. MnDOT's Nathan Bowie says the biggest impact will be 35W North, which closes at 8 p.m. from the split all the way to 494.
So that means if you're traveling 35 north and want to get on 13, you cannot make that move to Highway 13 to go west to Shakopee. So there is detours posted, but that's one thing to keep in mind is that impact at 35W.
That stretch reopens at 5 tomorrow morning. WCCO News Time is 4:05.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Brought by Laguna, Minnesota. Visit buildthenorth.com. 35W northbound 694. Trash off to the right side, keeping things slow. You come up on Road D, traveling 169 southbound. Actually, 169 in both directions is jammed up right now between 101 and 494. Get ready for your delays there. 94 westbound, at least a half hour on the ride as we try and make way through Hudson, Wisconsin, past Carmichael Road, over to the St. Croix River, and 694 westbound. Got some slowing and make way between Silver Lake Road and 252. Laguna, Minnesota reminds you to slow down in construction zones. The members of Laguna and the union contractors are building better infrastructure for you. So please slow down and pay attention to the road signs when you see orange and yellow. Brought to you by Laguna, Minnesota. Visit buildthenorth.com. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
And with that, here's WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
Another warm and humid night tonight. Check out the beautiful full moon, 72 the overnight low. Mostly cloudy tomorrow. We should stay dry for much of the day with a high up near 90. Now, western Minnesota, you'll get the first taste of some showers and thunderstorms. Likely doesn't make it to the Twin Cities till the overnight hours. Rain showers linger into Friday, cooler with a high of 80, mid-80s this weekend, and dry both days.
Partly cloudy right now. It is on the humid side as well. That dew point at 67, 90 degrees at News Talk 830 WCCO.
Ever have a brilliant thought right after the conversation moves on?
I can't believe I didn't think of it sooner.
The voice message feature on the Odyssey app is made for you. Click the microphone right by the Listen Live button and send us your thoughts on your time. Good questions. Topics you'll probably talk about at dinner. Places to go for dinner. This is the Ride Home Reimagined. Welcome to Drive Time with DeRusha. Thanks to Luther Kia of Bloomington. Now, here's Jason DeRusha.
Why are cyber attackers going after small town Minnesota water plants. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. It's Drive Time Hour 2. Glad to have you with us here on CCO. You've heard the stories from Laura and for the news team. Cyber attackers going after more than 30 different community water systems around Minnesota. And I just think, like, if I were a cyber attacker, South St. Paul would probably not be high on my list of targets. The Bram water plant would not be high on my list. We've seen more and more of these attacks against school systems in Minnesota. We've seen attacks against the city of St. Paul, but why these small town water systems? To get some insight, we asked Professor Jonathan Rolstad for the University of Minnesota College of Engineering. He is an expert in this area to join us on CCO. He's on the John Schuster Coldwell Banker hotline. Jonathan, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
So maybe you can give me at least your best guess or your thought to that why question. Why would anyone target these sort of small town water utilities?
That's a good question. I'm going to do my best to answer. I think a lot of these systems that we have in our smaller towns are running on older technologies or older systems. They're also really distributed. If you think about a water system, it's going to have pipes and systems that are miles and miles apart from each other. And so it's going to rely on something we call operational technology. And that means it's going to be updated less frequently. You might install a device and it's going to stay there for a long time before you can touch it again. So really, we rely on these systems. They're all spread out. They can be older, and that leaves them vulnerable.
I understand the vulnerability. Would the motive of this potentially be a ransomware type thing where you say, like, all right, we're gonna do this, but the goal of doing it is to try to get some money out of the deal? Or is it just are there certain cyber attackers who are really just looking to kind of cause havoc?
Yeah, I recall the City of St. Paul hack. That was ransomware, if you guys remember that one.
Yeah.
But this one, so far there have been no signs of ransomware, which makes me think at least that it's somebody who wants to disrupt our networks. They wanted to cause some pain. They found these old systems that they could go after. Maybe they have a political agenda of some kind, or it could even be a foreign entity that wants to cause some harm. So it's hard to say. We don't know who it is, but so far no signs of ransomware.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And I would think as we talk with Jonathan Rolstad, who's a cybersecurity expert, has worked with governments on some of these issues and teaches at the University of Minnesota. Every city, every small town. I mean, when you look at the names on the list of some of these communities that have been targeted, I mentioned Bram, which is not exactly like a bustling giant community. Plymouth is a bigger, 60,000 people in that suburb, but going after these small town water utilities, every small town all over the state, I would think, should be going over their systems with a fine-tooth comb right now, right?
Yeah, for sure. If you go back to April, you can see the U.S. government. There's an agency called CISA that puts out cyber guidance, and they put out a warning about this exact type of attack back in April. But it can be really hard to get those warnings to the right people who would need to take action on them. So that's part of the problem. And also just, probably in this case, these cities were running a certain kind of technology, which left them all vulnerable to the same type of attack. I saw one report where the city of Plymouth said that it was a cellular connected device, which makes sense, right? If these networks are huge and distributed, they would perhaps use cellular technology to connect them to their headquarters. And so in this case, I saw that they think it might have been a cellular device that was attacked, and then all these cities that had that device installed would be vulnerable. And that's probably why they were chosen.
I've read that there have been, and you mentioned the risk of foreign attackers, and we know that federal warning warned of Iranian affiliated actors. I have to say, and maybe some of this is the Midwestern Minnesota sort of aw shucks, I can't believe they come after us. But it does still boggle my mind to think that some sort of Iranian affiliated cyber attacker would say, let's go after some little rinky dink towns in the outskirts of Minneapolis and St. Paul. It seems crazy.
Yeah, I totally agree. It boggles my mind a little bit too, just thinking that something like that might be the case. This could have been, the situation here. And the good news from my perspective is that they didn't really cause a lot of problems for the cities. They had to take some measures to fix it, but fortunately, the water was okay. So that gives me hope. But to me, I agree. It's a crazy, crazy time.
Jonathan Rolstad for the University of Minnesota, cybersecurity expert, is with us. I did want to get your take on what the reaction and what the response has been. It seems that the state had a coordinated response that was able to step in, because I assume some of these cities probably have enough folks and enough IT people to be able to intervene and stop things or isolate their different systems, but some maybe don't. So I don't know. As an outsider, my impression has been that the response was pretty good by the government and by the cities. What's your view of it?
Yeah, I would agree. And I also think of, like I mentioned, the St. Paul City attack, and then there was also one against some school districts in Minnesota. And the state of Minnesota provided support in those cases. And I think for the city of St. Paul, they even brought in the National Guard. So I do agree. I think the response has been great because these smaller entities don't have the resources to deal with something like this. So when I see the state level response, I think that's great.
Are we spending enough money on this sort of stuff? This isn't the sexy sort of thing that if you're a mayor or a city council member, when you say we got to spend more money on cybersecurity defense, I can see where politicians would feel like, but I want to build more housing, or I want to open a new park, or I want to fix the roads. Are we funding this at a level that is sufficient considering the threats that are out there today?
I don't know if I can answer that, to be honest. I'm in security, so I always want there to be more resources put towards it, but those are other great priorities as well. So it's tough to say.
Yeah, I suppose the bigger thing is knowing that people are focused on it and aware of it. And especially the bigger issue is maybe that we have so many outdated computer systems operating really critical infrastructure, from electrical infrastructure to sewer. You think about if somebody really wanted to mess with our quality of life or our ability to function or our economy, going after utilities, there is some logic to that.
Yeah, I think also a lot of these systems were installed, you can think of, 15, 20 years ago, even longer perhaps, and they weren't installed with this in mind, that people weren't thinking about the security and the different types of attacks that they were going to face. And then also, I hate to say it, but like AI technologies is making it easier to find problems with some of these systems, because before you couldn't really find some of these vulnerabilities. Now that barrier for entry is a little bit lower, and new people are able to find some problems and cause some issues, which is unfortunate. And so I think we are going to see, over the coming year or two, we're going to just see probably similar attacks.
Super interesting insight. I really appreciate your time. Jonathan Rolstad from the University of Minnesota on this cyber attack targeting water utilities. Jonathan, thanks for spending the time with us.
Yeah, really nice talking to you. Thank you.
All right, we are going to break in a minute. More than 100 times, Anthony Fauci pled the fifth today. More than 100 times. And I totally get it. We'll talk about that when we come back.
Drive Time with DeRusha is fueled by Luther Kia of Bloomington. Go see Dan Dingman and the crew today, or always online at lutherkiaofbloomington.com.
So I was looking at Instagram today, and at the Tureen Dermatology site, I saw that the cat is on the bag. They shared the big news that they have opened a new clinic in Menominee. It's Jason here for my friends at Tureen Dermatology. Dr. Mohiba Tureen is my dermatologist. She is awesome. I absolutely love her. And the fact that they're opening a new clinic in Menominee is no surprise to me. Tureen Dermatology has been opening so many different locations, and they're only doing it in areas where people are waiting months to get quality dermatology care. Medical care, you're going to have the best dermatology care in your community. They've got the cosmetic operations as well. Not operations, but, they've got your all of those sorts of skincare regimens, skincare treatments, skincare help. This month especially, there's a focus on sunscreen. I know you might be thinking, like, I just buy the cheapest sunscreen possible. I have found that by using the sunscreen they sell at Tureen Dermatology, it's not greasy on your face. It doesn't sit there all white. It lasts longer. It protects better. I prefer it. And right now it's 20% off if you go to one of the now 12 Tureen Dermatology locations. You can get an appointment within 3 weeks. TAREEN at TureenDermatology.com.
Lisa Damuth, a Republican who delivers results.
And I led the charge in rooting out billions in fraud and waste.
To stop the fraud, you need a governor who won't back down. Lisa Damuth gets the job done. Lisa Damuth understands to make Minnesota affordable again, we must fight fraud. Lisa Damuth knows to create good-paying jobs for Americans, we must stop payments to illegal aliens.
I led the way to end taxpayer funding of health care for illegal immigrants.
In the legislature, Republican Lisa Damuth fought the fraudsters. Now, Lisa Damuth's running for governor.
Let's start our Minnesota comeback right here and right now.
America's PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising. Paid for by America's PAC and not authorized by any other candidate or committee. AmericasPAC527.com.
Chanhassen Dinner Theaters brings you the goods with the hit of the summer, Guys and Dolls. You got your delicious dinner. You got your great show. Heck, you got free parking. Such a deal. Guys and Dolls, it's hilarious, romantic, hit tunes like Luck Be a Lady and Sit Down, You're Rockin' the Boat. This is the high-rolling hit musical for the whole family, and it's your lucky day because I'm going to tell you how to score these tickets. Visit ChanhassenDT.com and you will hit the jackpot.
And Doug. Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons, and lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
As a fitness coach, my active psoriatic arthritis can slow me down. With Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, I'm treating my skin and joint symptoms so I can keep moving. Skyrizi, a prescription-only injection for adults, helps me move with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. And for those who have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible. With Skyrizi, there's no daily dosing. It's just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement. And that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZI to learn more.
Jason DeRusha.
I'm dropping bombs of genius every day on this show.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
$111 times. That's how many times Dr. Fauci pled the fifth. Doesn't really matter. It's a good headline, right? Wasn't just the Fox News headline. I saw it on CNN as well. I get it. It is the news story, right? But if you were Tony Fauci, you would have pled the fifth as well, because congressional hearings have been a sham for a long time, but they've become sham-tastic, sham-wow, sham-splosive. These things are an absolute waste of time. And today I considered, I'm like, do we, this is the biggest story in the country. We should probably talk about it. And one, I don't want to. I just don't want to. I don't want to revisit something from 4-5 years ago that I get it. I get why people are obsessed with it. And I do think there are productive conversations to be had about what we learned, how we would handle these things in the future, what we did right, what we did wrong. But that's not what anybody is interested in doing. And this is really just a big gotcha fest. And so if I open up the phone lines, if you hate Fauci, you're going to talk about, well, like he was a camera hog and he wrote in his diaries about being excited about seeing celebrities. Oh, my God, I can't imagine it. If you, Ding Dong Larry, in your normal life, were just going through your normal life and then you became the most prominent doctor in America, getting texts and emails and calls from literal celebrities, you wouldn't find that sort of amazing? You wouldn't write about that? Like, come on. It's so dumb. So here's Tony Fauci. And this sort of explains, because of Senator Rand Paul, why he pled the fifth 111 times.
The only conclusion I can reach is that the sole reason he is calling me before this committee is to get me to say something, anything, that could vindicate his repeated public pledges that I end up, in his words, quote, behind bars, unquote. Any reasonable person who has followed his unhinged obsession with me would readily come to the same conclusion. Therefore, although it pains me to do so, because of the respect I have for the legislative branch of government and my decades-long record of cooperating with Congress, under the advice of my attorneys, I will invoke my right under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution to refrain from answering your questions. Thank you.
So then for 111 times, that's what he did. I don't fully get the current ongoing right-wing obsession with Dr. Fauci. Is it his name? Is that part of why people get it? Fauci? Like, I don't know. There's an obsession. And did Dr. Fauci get some stuff wrong? Yes. Did the government get some things wrong during COVID? Yes. Were a lot of people's lives saved? Yes. Did Donald Trump do a hell of a job getting the entire medical community on board to create what everybody calls the jab now? Like, yeah, Trump was correctly lauded and should still be lauded for this. So, I don't know. To me, the COVID time, some of my hesitation to revisit it is because there are no original ideas coming out. Nobody has a new opinion or something that's going to get everybody to say, hadn't thought about it that way. So sort of what's the point? If you want to go through the rest of your life spazzing about Dr. Fauci, freaking out about how much Fauci ruined your life, ruined your business, ruined your kids, ruined your family, fine. I do think there are valid reasons that certain individuals would feel really, really angry If you lost a loved one during that time, well, you know what? Actually, screw that. Like I lost a loved one during that time. I didn't get to visit him in the hospital. But a lot of people went through that scenario. And I do understand that if you have anger about that, I get it. Like, I get it. But I also think you have to say, you know what? President Trump and the effort to rapidly develop an effective vaccine saved how many lives? So lots of stuff screwed up. I think it's totally valid to examine this. But what congressional hearings are about now is getting somebody you hate up there to say something that is false so you can file a contempt of Congress or you file a this guy perjured himself in front of Congress and then the show continued. So I just, to me, I'm not that into it. I'm not that into it. I don't find the COVID years to be years that I see a lot of productive conversation about why we should go back and revisit that ad nauseum. And if you are obsessed with it, I guess I'm curious, like what, other than dunking on people you don't like, do you get joy out of like relitigating that stuff? I don't know. I think it's important to question government response. It's important to question the so-called experts, but it's also important to like understand that there are people who know more than you do. And trusting people who are doing their best in a complicated situation, there's no shame in that. YouTube commenter saying that Trump has never celebrated Project Warp Speed. That's just not true. Now, today he doesn't talk about it. Why do you think Donald Trump doesn't celebrate it today? And he was celebrating it when he left office. I believe he gave Anthony Fauci a commendation. Anthony Fauci was given a commendation at the end of Trump's first term for his excellent work with Project Warp Speed. So why does he not talk about it now? Because his fans hate the jab. And that's all it is. He's playing to his crowd. And I get it. If I'm Trump, I'm like, I did something that I think was amazing. And now we've all decided that it was awful. And so what are you supposed to do? I don't know. I guess you ignore it. That's sort of what Donald Trump does. Let's break. Terrible day on Wall Street. Terrible day. The Dow Jones down more than 1,000 points, more than 2%. This is the Fed, for the first time with their new chair, makes a decision. What did they decide, and what is going on with Wall Street? We'll get some insight from our buddy Pat Rehkamp in just a minute here on CCO.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
This morning, I was out at Luther Kia Bloomington, getting my tires changed. It's Jason here for Dan Dingman and the awesome team at Luther Kia of Bloomington. Now, let me tell you, when I showed up at their brand new facility, beautiful service bays. Do you ever pull up to get your car worked on and feel like, man, this is nice? That's how I felt. Bringing my car, my Kia Stinger, out to Luther Kia Bloomington. And I got the chance to spend a little bit of time with their parts manager. And we're talking about part of the benefit to getting your tires changed at the dealer. And I know a lot of people think like, if you go to the dealer, you're going to get ripped off. You're not. At Luther Kia Bloomington, they have a price match guarantee. So you get 30 days. They got you covered. You don't have to worry about like getting a raw deal. But you get so much more. You get factory trained techs. You get parts and tires from the factory. It's a great experience. Highly recommend going to see Adam. He's the service manager at Luther Kia Bloomington, or go see Dan Dingman. Now, if you need a new car, I'm driving a Kia K5 sedan right now. Ooh, hard to find sedans out in the marketplace right now, and this is a beauty. Affordable, too. They got great specials right now, so go check it out online. Luther Kia of Bloomington.com.
Okay, so we checked with our people who sent it to legal. Legal then referred it to corporate. Corporate formed a steering committee, which convened the board, who then commissioned an independent feasibility study. The study was peer-reviewed, notarized, redacted, unredacted, and returned to legal. After reviewing the findings, consulting several highly paid independent experts, and taking a long, thoughtful look at the data, it turns out that, yes, you can listen to WCCO.
If only every decision in life were as easy as choosing News Talk 830 WCCO. No committee necessary.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Make sure your family is well taken care of with life insurance. Protect your phone, laptops, and more with electronic device insurance, and cover your furry friends with pet health insurance.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-284-1238. 800-284-1238. You have nothing to lose, but everything to gain. 800-284-1238.
In a world that's racing a mile a minute, a split-second distraction can change everything. I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. Every day we see too many people, heads buried in their phones, unaware of the dangers they're in. Texting and driving isn't just reckless, it's playing Russian roulette with your life and the lives of others. In just 4 seconds of distraction, you've driven the length of a football field. Is there any text message that's worth your life, that's worth the lives of others? I've been fighting for the rights of the injured for over 30 years. But I'd rather you never meet me in a courtroom. So hear me now. Stop texting and driving. Pay attention. Value your lives and the lives around you. And if you won't, know this. At Bradshaw & Bryant, we're relentless. We won't back down. We bring justice to those that need it.
Find Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury attorneys at MinnesotaPersonalInjury.com.
With Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw & Bryant.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Slowdowns into downtown Minneapolis for southbound 35W as you move down from Stinson toward Washington Avenue. North 35W is jammed up as you make way past 42nd Street. North 169, watching slowdowns there as you make way between Highway 62 and Highway 55. And congestion in place 494 northbound, Highway 62 to 394. Trey Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
B&M Tree Services, certified arborists offering storm cleanup and full tree removal with professional service at prices you can afford. Call 1-800-569-9034 or visit bnmtree.com. Trusted, professional, reliable.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Let's get the CCO forecast on this hot day. Thanks to B&M Tree Service. Here's Chris Schaefer.
Another warm night tonight, only cooling back to 72 under a partly cloudy sky. We'll see more clouds tomorrow, more elevated smoke from those wildfires out west. 90 the afternoon high. Showers and thunderstorms will be racing across western Minnesota, likely not getting here till late tomorrow night. That rain lingers into Friday. That'll keep us cooler with a high near 80. We dry out this weekend, less humid, couple nice looking days with highs in the 80s.
Right now in downtown Minneapolis, Target Field, it's 91 and partly cloudy on CCO.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha.
He's an operator, baby. Yes.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
Would a boy like you, like a girl like me, doesn't matter.
Well, it's one of those days that I hope you're not retiring tomorrow, right? you go look at that 401k and you're like, oh no, what happened? The Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped today a little more than 2%, down 1,153 points. And that wasn't the main reason that we had asked Pat Rehkamp to join us here in studio today, but it certainly is a good thing. It gives us something else to talk about, doesn't it, Pat?
It does. Regarding the stock market, sort of the saying we say is time in the market is more important than timing the market. That's pretty tough to buy low and sell high.
It almost impossible, right?
I think it is impossible. I don't know anyone that's done it consistently well for a super long time.
Pat Rehkamp is the senior financial writer for 1834, which is a division of Old National Bank. Now, the Federal Reserve met just a couple hours ago.
Yep.
And we were particularly interested in this meeting because they've got a new Fed chair. This is the first meeting, the second meeting the new chair has headed, right?
Yep. Yeah, we were kind of waiting to see what would happen. I think the market was generally expecting the Fed to remain on pause, which is what they did. But I think the big news out of this, if we're just looking at the meeting itself, is that 3 of the 12 voters dissented. They wanted to raise rates. Historically, these votes are pretty unanimous, 12-0, 11-1, things like that. So there's some pressure building, I think, to raise rates now. We're going to have to see what happens.
It's interesting because we know the president has wanted to drop rates.
The President Trump has been very vocal about dropping rates. I think Kevin Warsh certainly is a bias to dropping or cutting rates as well. However, with inflation being as sticky as it is, he's going to have a hard time doing that. The latest CPI report we had from June showed some progress on inflation. However, since then, gas prices, oil prices back up again. So I think when July's numbers come out, they're going to be pretty bad.
You know, when you look at Kevin Warsh and his style, we were able to watch the old Fed chair.
Yeah,
kind of. He explained a little more. He was a little more chatty.
So, yeah, former Fed Chair Jerome Powell was very chatty. He would answer questions, I think, pretty directly, as bluntly as possible. Warsh, the new chair, has been pretty open that he's not going to have that communication style. There's going to be some things that go away. He doesn't answer questions quite as directly. He's certainly not boxing himself into a corner, though, as far as what the Fed's going to do next. He's leaving options open, which I think is probably a positive in that, where he's not tied to something based on some forecasting. However, I'm not sure the markets like it too much because it's hard to get a read on him and what he thinks is really going on.
Pat Rehkamp is with us from 1834, which is part of Old National Bank. So, you know, when you look ahead, when you look in the crystal ball, obviously what these Fed governors want to do and what they're able to do because of the economy, sometimes it's two different things. We know the new Fed chair wants to cut.
Yep.
President Trump wants to cut. The economy is saying, you can't do it. So are you thinking there will be an interest rate hike? There will be 2 interest rate hikes? What do we think?
The big probability model that Wall Street likes to watch is saying 2 hikes, one later this year. September's looking likely. And then again, early 2027. I think our base case right now is maybe 1 hike this year. And why is that? Well, let's just break it down. I mean, when the Fed raises rates, that raises a lot of different borrowing rates, interest rates throughout the economy. So the Fed raises auto loan rates, credit card rates, adjustable rate mortgages, business lending rates. Those all go up. Spending slows down, business activity slows down, and then inflation slows down too. Well, what's really causing inflation right now? Oil prices / Iran, the Strait of Hormuz. I don't see the Fed raising rates that's going to magically reopen the strait. You have all this AI spending with these data centers, hundreds of billions of dollars. These companies seem to not care about that and will continue spending. And then also tariffs. I think tariffs have been inflationary too. And I don't see raising rates impacting President Trump's policy on tariffs.
Yeah, it is interesting to think about, like, all right, if they raise, the impact on the economy, I don't know, like everything seems so, the emotional side of the economy is that we're very on edge, right?
I think so. If you look at any sort of consumer confidence metrics, those have been pretty bad for a while now. It's inflation, yes, but I think it's also just generally the price of things. People are still agitated at the price increases that we've seen over the last 5 years, and wages have not kept up. That's that to me is probably the biggest thing that's going on right now when it comes to consumer sentiment.
So do you think there is any sort of Fed monetary policy that would make a significant difference in the direction of the economy?
I don't really see anything when it comes to interest rates, right? Because the things that are driving inflation right now are sort of out of the Fed's control. Now, inflation's been above the Fed's 2% target for over 5 years now. I think there's some members thinking that we have to do something to try and slow down inflation to whatever we can. That's not to say that it wouldn't have an impact. I don't know if that would be a targeted impact on some of the big drivers right now in inflation.
We're kind of stuck, it seems, in this inflationary environment. And I also look at the fact that somewhat surprisingly, consumers seem willing to keep spending those higher prices.
It's true. I mean, a lot of it's the wealth effect, right? I mean, forget today. The stock market, though, has done pretty well. So that's buoyed a lot of people's ability to spend. High-end consumers have continued spending.
Rich people don't care.
They've been more immune to some of the price increases than others, is how I'll delicately
That's
put
a
it.
nicer way to say it.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
more diplomatic.
I wish I were that rich that I didn't care. It sounds nice.
As we were talking, my wife and I were thinking about Black Duck in Northeast because you said, you're going to go check it out before too long. And I mentioned, I said it's super expensive with the word on the street. But the point being is, yes, I think people are just very agitated on how much things cost, not necessarily the 3% or 4% increase in prices we're seeing right now.
The hard thing about inflation, Pat, is that, even if inflation gets down to close to zero, which isn't going to happen, but if it did, you're still stuck with all these years of prices going up, and that's sort of the larger frustration.
I think that's exactly it. I mean, prices are up, I think, 26% since we saw the real big peaks about 5 years ago. People's wages have not risen that much. They feel like they're falling behind. That causes a lot of consternation, agitation.
Yeah. It is. So this data, when you see the data, it doesn't make you feel better when things slow. You're like, well, it's just slower inflation. It's not negative inflation.
Right. That's not deflation, but a little bit of inflation is okay. Again, 2% year over year is the target the Fed goes for. You look at people's wages, 2.5%, 3%, something like that is what average increases are. So they incrementally get ahead. That just hasn't happened as of late.
I'm sorry, what's the average pay increase? I just want to get that on record again.
It's around, it depends, right? But it's something around 2.5%, 3% is typically what's seen as healthy. And also, wage increases can be inflationary too if they go too fast. However, 3% wage increases are not considered very inflationary.
Dan, are you writing that down for the? Yeah, we're in radio.
Putting it into an email for the company as we speak. Yes.
Good luck with the merit increases. I don't know what else to tell you.
Well, you used to work in journalism.
Yes, there was a lot of years with no pay increases at all. So
exactly
right. Those were pretty tough.
Exactly right. For the stock market, do you see today as sort of like a oil price related hiccup or?
I looked at it a little bit today because I was kind of zeroed on the Fed. I think what was going on, and this is just a little bit of an educated guess, is there was some profit taking. Stocks have been on a pretty good tear. Some people are selling, taking out. We've seen U.S. Treasuries bounce up a little bit. People might be diverting some money towards that. I certainly think oil prices might have to do with certainly a little bit of it too. I don't know if the Fed had a ton of impact on this other than there's a concern the Fed won't be able to get inflation back to its 2% target in the near future.
The crude oil prices are up over 7% to above 88 again. So this is this is Iran. This is, if the longer this thing goes on, the more you're going to, I saw out at the just gas pumps today, we're back pretty close to $4 a gallon.
Yeah. Northeast where I live, 420 I've seen the last couple of days.
Is that for the fancy gas?
No, it's just unleaded. Yeah. It's not diesel. It's just unleaded. I do think though, if somehow issues with Iran go away, the Strait of Hormuz reopens, gas prices will drop pretty quick because a lot of the major oil producers are pumping a ton of gas and there could be oversupply, which will bring down oil prices.
Pat Rehkamp with us from Old National Bank. I always have to look. There's so many numbers. Your title is so long, Pat. 1834, a division of Old National Bank.
1834 was the year the bank was founded, and that's where the name of the division comes from.
Do you think they're too clever with this division? Like, couldn't you just be like, you could be like the new old or the old new National Bank? I don't know.
I kind of like it.
They're
throwing back to its history, right? I mean, the bank's been around for a long time.
Of course,
trying to honor.
Of course, you like it. My gosh,
I know which
have
side.
some integrity. Good stuff from Pat Rehkamp about the Fed. Interest rates unchanged today, but signaling that there may be a hike on the horizon. September, the next meeting?
September's the next meeting. The Fed does not meet in August. So
they come to the fair. I think they're all coming to the state fair.
I hope 280 is open by then. So us Wall Street nerds are going to be watching. I think September 14th and 15th is when they meet again. We're going to get a lot of inflation data between now and then. So things could change. But right now, it'll be interesting to see what happens in September.
Thanks, Pat.
Thank you.
Worst thing about the heat. I want your text, 651-461-9226. The worst thing about this heat wave that we've been in, there is some data that may give some credence to what I think the worst thing is, and we'll talk about that next.
Drive Time with DeRusha, tuned up and rolling, thanks to Luther Kia of Bloomington.
So last night I'm at the Minneapolis Club. I'm at the Minneapolis Club with Sam, who is just home from the Philippines. So this kid's been out of the country for 2 months. And we go to Minneapolis Club, and Sam was like, you know what I want? Just a beautiful pork chop. I'm like, Sam DeRusha, I love you so much. You're my favorite. Don't tell Seth. I said, Minneapolis Club, they got a special with a beautiful bone-in pork chop, and let's go get it. It's Jason here for our friends at Minnesota Pork. They, you look on menus all over Minnesota, you will find beautiful, lean, juicy, flavorful Minnesota pork. You can do it at home, too, this weekend. Oh, man. Now, tonight, do you want to fire up the oven? Perhaps no. The grill outside? I got no problem with grilling when it's 90 degrees out. Pork chops sound good. How about ribs this weekend? How about pulled pork? Maybe a nice shoulder. Slow roast that bad boy. Do you need inspiration? Find it at tastewhatporkcando.com. But get yourself to your grocery store or butcher shop. Let's have Minnesota pork for dinner tonight.
Hey, it's Brew, and I feel like everything in my life depends on being connected. Whether I'm uploading a video, hopping on a call before my show, or video chatting with my family back in Michigan, I never have to think about my Wi-Fi. And that's why Xfinity stands out. You get the most reliable, fiber-powered Wi-Fi with the best equipment at one price for 5 years guaranteed. No contracts or commitments. Plus, you can get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Use of fiber or coaxial cable. Learn more at xfinity.com/same-day Wi-Fi. Xfinity, imagine that.
Wait, everything on this IHOP value menu is just $6?
I told you it was amazing. A huge plate of pancakes, bacon, and eggs is just $6.
Wow.
There's also French toast, a ham and cheese omelet, and they got a BLT and fries now.
Okay, we're coming here every day.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Feast for just $6 with the IHOP value menu. $7 in some locations, available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
So when do you need to start thinking about a will? Find out at gutmanlaw.com. What is a living trust, and do you need this? Find out at gutmanlaw.com. What about a power of attorney or probate? We'll get all the answers to your questions when you schedule a free attorney consultation at, gutmanlaw.com. It's Jordana. And I didn't know the first thing about wills, living trusts, estate planning, but I didn't need to. All I did was reach out to my friend Matt Gutman and his partner Jamie Ref Wagner. This is their focus: wills, trust, probate, estate plans. Now knowing that my loved ones will be taken care of no matter what helps me sleep at night. Don't wait until it's too late to get these things taken care of. You can schedule a free, no-hassle consultation right on the website. Say it with me, gutmanlaw.com. Gutmanlaw.com, giving you peace of mind today for tomorrow. It's not just a slogan. I sleep better at night now that I have my estate plan in place. Thanks to Matt Gutman and Jamie.
Hi, Ryan O'Neill with the Minnesota Real Estate Team and RE/MAX Advantage Plus. Our team is here to help you with any real estate questions you may have about buying, selling, or investing. Our approach is simple. We focus on you and your best interests. No hard sales pitch, rush, or pressure. We work on your timeline. 612-294-6949, mnrealestateshow.com. That's 612-294-6949.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
And brought to you by Laguna, Minnesota. Visit buildthenorth.com. You're going to find the slowdowns in place, traveling 35W southbound 98th Street, heading down to Highway 13, traveling 494 eastbound. That's jammed up from Highway 52 on over. And 35 east slows both directions between Roselawn and 94. South 35W still slows into Minneapolis past Stinson. Laguna, Minnesota, remind you to slow down when you see orange cones and yellow vests all year round. They're working to improve your infrastructure and build a better Minnesota for you. So please slow down, save lives, keep construction workers safe. Brought to you by Laguna, Minnesota. Visit buildthenorth.com. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCL.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
All right, let's get you a forecast because the heat is going to continue for at least another day, and then Friday we see some relief. Tonight first, if you're going to Target Field for the Twins game, and why wouldn't you after that exciting walk-off victory last night? How fun was that? Let's have fun. It's going to be hot. A low of 72 tonight. Tomorrow, 90 is the high. Friday, we're watching for rain. Hopefully, we'll get a lot of it. The high expected to be 80. It'll be cooler and less humid, a little closer to the average of 83 this weekend. Right now, it is 88 on CC.
Steering you through what matters. Drive time with DeRusha. Tuned up and rolling thanks to Luther Kia of Bloomington.
Frequent listeners to the show certainly would have identified the fact that I made up the temperature in that last moment. But I felt bad about it, so I needed to confess. 92 is the St. Paul temperature, so I was off by 4 degrees. That is still within the 5-degree guarantee. That's what I offer here on WCCO Radio. My current temperature will be within 5 degrees. I guarantee it. I used to work at a TV station that was the bit. That was the poor weather guy.
Chris Schaefer?
No, this was in Milwaukee.
Earlier TV days?
In Milwaukee, we had all sorts of weather like nonsense. But the bit was the 5-degree guarantee. So if you were off.
Were any of them named Johnny Raincloud?
No, the chief meteorologist is a guy by the name of Mark Baden, who I believe either Mark or his wife, they're from Minnesota. But Mark had to do the 5-degree guarantee, which is horribly humiliating.
It's a lot of pressure.
Because then the next day, you're like, you got to go on the air and be like, well, I botched it yesterday. I was off by $6. So the Channel 12 5-degree guarantee means Shirley Masonry wins $120. And then it's just embarrassing. You would never make like some reporter go on the air and like tell us what you screwed up yesterday.
And here we're going to pay you $120.
And then you got to pay somebody. I don't think it came out.
I didn't came out of his pocket. I mean,
I don't think it came out. I
better not have.
So worst thing about the heat. Texters have some ideas. One texter says everything. Another texter says testicle sweat. Well,
okay. I mean, you asked. That's an answer.
That's a bad thing about the heat. That is a bad thing about the heat. A new study says hot nights are costing you 56 hours of sleep per year. I think it
is tough to sleep when it's hot.
It's the sleep.
Yeah.
So last night we were back in Maple Grove, and we have good air conditioning in the basement.
Right.
We have okay air conditioning on the main level.
But upstairs.
Why did home designers ever put the bedrooms upstairs? It's so warm. Ugh.
It's great during the winter, though.
It's true. Yeah, my heating costs are very low.
Yep.
You make a fair point.
Thank you.
10% of lost sleep.
Just another reason winter's vastly superior to summer.
Ooh, I'm not willing to go that far. We'll talk Kaohly. We'll talk Wiener Wednesday. Top of the hour, Continental Diamond time check is 4:57.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
Another app for inventory, one for CRM. Oh, don't forget accounting. Wait, which login was that?
Or you could use Odoo, one fully integrated system that does it all without the hassle. Ditch the app overload. Get everything your business needs on one platform. Try Odoo free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Let's make this summer your best summer ever. Jason here for Luther Kia of Bloomington, and Luther Kia Bloomington wants to upgrade your ride. Outstanding prices. $399 a month sign and drive lease offers on Seltos, Sportage, Nero, and K5. Get out of here. Plus $750 owner loyalty cash on the stunning Kia Telluride and the Telluride Hybrid. Best cars for the money on the market. Check out their brand new facility, now open at 35W and 494. Luther Kia of Bloomington.com.
When are you moving? Are you dreading your neighbors asking you that when they see a for sale sign in your yard? It's Vanita. Call my friends from the John Schuster Group, Coldwell Banker Realty. The Good Neighbor agent can help you sell your home for full market value. John's vast network and database of buyers helps him sell houses quickly and for top dollar. JohnSchusterGroup.com.
Buy a home, sell a home, we'll get you moving. JohnSchusterGroup.com.
Terms and conditions may apply.
News Talk 830 WCCO, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. President Trump vowing to retaliate after Iran carried out surprise attacks targeting U.S. sites in the Middle East overnight and today at a port in Egypt. ABC's Karen Travers says it comes just days after a pause in hostilities.
The president now for days has been insisting that the Iranians are desperate to make a deal, but there has been no public indication by the Iranians that they actually want to do that. And now we see this strike last night, those missile attacks on Jordan that, of course, were intercepted, shot down.
The war with Iran creating more uncertainty when it comes to oil and gas prices. The Federal Reserve Board today voting 9-3 to leave interest rates unchanged for now. New details in the federal investigation against FBI Director James Comey. He's accused of posting a seashell formation of 8647 that was intended, authorities say, to threaten the president.
Defense lawyers say prosecutors interviewed Sammy the Bull Gravano to ask if he believed Comey's experience prosecuting the Gambino crime family would have led him to believe the term 86 was a reference to murder. Gravano cooperated with the Department of Justice in the 90s and admitted to his involvement in 19 murders. But he told prosecutors that Comey's post wasn't a personal threat to Trump. Comey's lawyers revealed the details as part of their push to have the case thrown out ahead of trial. Peter Harolambus, ABC News.
Flash flooding remains a threat in portions of the Northeast following yesterday's severe storms. Here's ABC's Ginger Z.
We are going to see this same system produce more rain, and that's why we've got an area today of a level 3 out of 4, which is high, right? From Connecticut, right through western Massachusetts into southern Vermont. You could easily see 1 to 2 inch per hour rainfall rates, 2 to 4 inch totals on top of what you've already had. We will finally spin this thing out of here by Friday morning.
The nation's midsection and western states dealing with searing heat with triple-digit temperatures hanging on this week. You're listening to ABC News.
Minnesota's trusted voice every hour. Let's get you caught up with what's happening now on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Partly cloudy, 90 degrees at 5:02. I'm Laura Oakes. Activists in St. Paul gathering at City Hall this afternoon to challenge a plan by the city to close homeless encampments on a rolling basis starting next week. The largest site at Pig's Eye Park is set to be cleared on August 5th. Organizer Drew Harmon.
Not only is it an immoral move removing people from their homes, but it's a typical move done by a city and done by a country which typically marginalizes the unhoused.
The coalition is urging city leaders to postpone the clearings until a solid housing plan is established. The encampment closures are on the front burner for St. Paul Mayor Kelly Herr's office, which is also grappling with news that the mayor herself is being investigated for allegedly sexually harassing city employees. Police Chief Axel Henry filed a formal complaint against Mayor Herr earlier this year, alleging she made inappropriate sexual comments toward him and other employees through a series of text messages and comments that his attorney says go beyond isolated incidents. A spokesman for Mayor Herr says the city will not comment on an active investigation, but says the mayor has deep respect for city employees and regrets any unintended impact her actions may have had. Cybersecurity experts say this week's attack on city water systems is just the tip of the iceberg.
Metro State cybersecurity professor Faisal Kalim spoke with Vanita Sakar on the WCCO Morning News and said the attacks were malicious and directed at Operation Technology.
OT deals with something called the industrial control system that actually controls these water pumps, wells, walls, power sectors, and so on.
Kalim said no water was contaminated, but it could have been much more severe.
The reason why this attack did not cause chaos was because of some of the basic training. The operators were able to switch everything to manual mode or manual control. Otherwise, it could have been, dangerous.
Ari Bergeron, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry's fire chief nominee, Dr. Reginald Freeman, goes before the full Minneapolis City Council for confirmation tomorrow. This comes after Freeman was asked last week about a 2022 lawsuit where two women alleged that departments under his watch had a history of harassment and discrimination against women. And a Target Center concert combined with the Minnesota Twins baseball tonight at Target Field could create a few traffic headaches, especially for those traveling from the West Metro into downtown on 394. MnDOT's Nathan Bowie says eastbound traffic is being funneled into the two Easy Pass lanes.
That is certainly lane reductions, and that will present some delays. On top of that, there's some additional construction in St. Louis Park. That's where we're seeing some bottlenecks there. So really plan ahead and give yourself some extra time given that construction on 394 starting around St. Louis Park.
He says traffic getting out of downtown headed west on 394 should be a little better with the road's main lanes back open. WCCO News Times, 5:05.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
It's working for North 100 near 57th Avenue. The activity off the left side. Traffic is slow past the wreck, heading up toward 94/694. Slowdowns in place. South 35E is moved past Grand Avenue, heading down to Shepherd Road. Cedar South, get ready for slowdowns there. 494 to Highway 13. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Washburn-McCreevy Funeral Chapels and Cremation Services has been providing compassionate and personalized service for over 160 years. Honor your loved one and ensure your own wishes are met. Call 612-377-2203 or visit washburnmccreevy.com.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Brought to you by Washburn McCreevy Funeral, Cremation, and Pre-Planning Services. Here's WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
Another warm and humid night tonight. Check out the beautiful full moon, 72 the overnight low. Mostly cloudy tomorrow. We should stay dry for much of the day with a high up near 90. Now, western Minnesota, you'll get the first taste of some showers and thunderstorms. Likely doesn't make it to the Twin Cities till the overnight hours. Rain showers linger into Friday, cooler with a high of 80. Mid-80s this weekend and dry both days.
Partly cloudy right now, 90 degrees at News Talk 830 WCCO.
Yeah, everybody's got an opinion, but not everybody has information. News Talk 830 WCCO. He knows news. He knows talk. He knows nonsense, too. So get ready for a lot of each. This is Drive Time with DeRusha, fueled by Luther Kia of Bloomington. Once again, here's Jason DeRusha.
You know, I wouldn't mind it if we could go one day without being a national laughingstock. Do we need a sign in the studio? It's been reset it down to it's been 0 days since we've been a national laughingstock.
Now shut up and drive.
Wiener Wednesday. Wiener Wednesday, something I never, man, when I think about the things in my career that I never thought I'd be talking about publicly, Wiener Wednesday is on the list. Well, I didn't even know it was a thing. It's Jason. Welcome to Drive Time. The mayor of St. Paul did speak with a reporter today. The Twin Cities Pioneer Press caught up with Kaohly, who is caught in an investigation over sexual harassment allegations that do involve the chief of police and other city employees. The Pioneer Press basically didn't get much out of her, as she said, quote, I look forward to the investigation closing so I can release all those, referring to text and files, for people to see. I will say that if the current accusations are true, and one of the accusations, if you haven't heard by now, frankly, if you haven't heard by now, congrats. If you can avoid all of the hot dog conversation about this today, you, I believe, have actually won at life. You're doing a good job. The mayor is accused of sending a text message to a police officer who would be a subordinate of hers about Wiener Wednesday. Text said, Happy Wiener Wednesday. Wish I was having hot dog emoji with you all today. Now, that said, to me, is that in and of itself problematic? I don't think so. And then there's more stuff. So this is an officer that she texted, and she put the officer's like face over this meme photo. And all right, so even that, I'm like, well, I don't know. I think that's still sort of defensible. But then the chief of police also has alleged that he was the recipient of unwanted, sexually suggestive text messages and physical touch. And we don't know exactly what that means, but it sounds pretty bad, doesn't it? And then we go one more, and Lou Ragoose today at Care 11 posted a video citing what he called rock solid sources. And to me, this is where you're like, all right, too far.
St. Paul Mayor Kaohly allegedly commented on the breasts of a female deputy chief with the St. Paul Police Department while they were in a locker room together, then asked that employee her opinion of the mayor's own breasts. These new details I've confirmed with rock-solid sources with knowledge of the sexual harassment investigation currently underway against Mayor
That's pretty rough. That's pretty rough. You're the mayor of St. Paul. You've been an elected official for years. You are a 53-year-old woman. You're not a teenager. You're not 22. I think it's pretty bad. Lots of text and lots of reaction to this today. You're welcome to chime in at 651-461-9226. But there is this delicate balance where we want to keep the workplace, there should be a relaxed nature. There should be a comfortable banter. That's fine. And when you're the mayor, you don't get to play in the play box. You don't get to play in the sandbox. You don't get to go on the swing set. You're the mayor. Many of you are filtering this scenario through the disgusting filter that is Donald Trump. And I would just say, I don't care how much of a skeezy, horrible human being Donald Trump is. It has nothing to do with how I judge anybody else's behavior. And for the people who are like, well, Trump is too much this, or Trump never stepped down. So what? So what? Now, I have so many questions about this Kaohly thing. First of all, you're like, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? But then also, this initial letter from the chief's attorney, Chris Madel, who is often an attorney for police officers. He ran for governor, then backed out of that. This was April 1st. Why are we first hearing of it today? I do not like that the city of St. Paul hired an outside law firm to do an investigation. We had a scenario with the police chief of Minneapolis where same thing, like this investigation was going on for years, and we as the public don't know about it. I understand that it can be difficult to do investigations when everybody knows an investigation is going on, but like I am surprised that it's been 4 months and we didn't hear anything about it. I don't like it. I feel like we should know. If the mayor is under investigation, if the police chief, now if the accounting supervisor is under investigation, I guess I don't need to know about that. But if the mayor or the police chief is, I feel like we should know about that. It's a head scratcher. It's a frustrating thing. You're like, about 6 months ago, I said Minnesota would like to go back to being flyover territory. And again, like now we've got this Wiener Wednesday. It's just a made for social media headline too. It's not great. We're going to break. In a minute, I want to talk about the incredible failure rate on Minnesota behind the wheel drivers test. Is it time to require everybody when you get your first license, no matter your age, that you got to spend 30 hours behind the wheel in training? I'm going to tell you why so many people are failing the driver's test. And I think a lot of it is because parents are neglecting their responsibility to teach their kids how to drive. We'll do that when we come back.
Drive Time with DeRusha is fueled by Luther Kia of Bloomington. Always online at lutherkiaofbloomington.com.
I want you to have the opportunity to be the best version of yourself possible. And I want you to explore the many, many ways that Livia can help get you there. It's Jason. You know, one thing I've learned over the years of working with Livia is that healthy living doesn't have to mean giving up the foods you love. Livia helped me get to my goal while I was a food critic. I was going out. I was traveling. I lost 45 pounds, and I've kept that weight off for 3.5 years now. I love that Livia does not believe in one-size-fits-all solution. It's not a click, click, click on a website. It's a team that's there to create solutions for you. My journey started with the nutrition program. But today, Livia has evolved. It's way more than weight loss, way more. They're offering personalized nutrition. There's medical weight management, GLP-1 support, metabolic health services, healthy aging advice, and more. So for me, losing weight was, well, I don't even know if I want to say that was the goal. The real goal was being healthier, having more energy, sleeping better, feeling my best, feeling comfortable in my clothes, in my own skin. The first step for you is an easy one. It's a free metabolic health assessment. This is a chance for you to meet with the experts, talk about your goals, and find the approach that's right for you. Livia.com, Livea.com. Get there today and schedule that free metabolic health assessment.
Hi, this is Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. We talk a lot about safety and responsibility on the roads, but we also want to listen. What messages do you think are important for us to share? And how are we doing? Please go to our website, hit the big red button, and share your thoughts. MinnesotaPersonalInjury.com. I sincerely hope you're not in a collision, but if you are, please reach out to us.
Find Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury attorneys at MinnesotaPersonalInjury.com.
Seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw & Bryant.
Why sell your house the hard way when you can sell it the easy way? When you say yes to a guaranteed cash offer from Chris Lindahl Real Estate, you can skip the line, get in the fast lane, and get a fresh start in life. Go to chrislindahl.com. Terms and conditions apply.
At Wealth Enhancement, we believe wealth is in the details. Our team of trusted advisors craft personalized solutions to help you achieve your financial goals. Tune in to the Your Money Show on News Talk 830 WCCO every Sunday from 8 to 9 a.m. or go to wealthenhancement.com to connect with one of our advisors.
Colonial craftsmen knew their stuff. The Colonial Collection is available in multiple sizes with all the storage pieces your bedroom might need.
A queen low footboard bed is Craftsman Direct priced from $29.45 or $123 a month for 24 months at Barufka's.
Museum quality for mummies and everyone.
Oh, Jim. Barufka's. No gimmicks, haggling, or hard to understand pricing in Woodbury and Burnsville.
Barufka. Decidedly American.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. Jason DeRusha.
I don't think he's funny. I don't think he's been funny for years.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
Dan Cook, we have a little bit of breaking news from our hometown Minnesota Twins.
Yeah, not an enormous surprise, but also not great news as you're headed to the trade deadline coming up on Monday. Twins yesterday, if you were watching, Byron Buxton left the game. His hip flared up on him again. This is an injury he's been dealing with off and on for months now. So they pulled him out of the game yesterday. And now today they've announced that they put him on the 10-day injured list, again with that right hip impingement. And have recalled Tristan Gray from AAA St. Paul to fill Byron's spot on the roster. So you presume you're going to shift Mr. Keyshaw over to center field and let him patrol out there and fill in as best you can. But Byron's bat is big in the lineup. It's important, and I'm sure, and even Derek Shelton said last night, this is something they're just going to have to manage the rest of the season. So you're going to have stints where it flares up on him, and you got to shut him down for a matter of days. In this case, 10, and then hopefully he's able to come back and provide a boost to the lineup. But it's just, it's a bummer. They're a better team with him, obviously, much better team with him. But you also have to try and manage this as best you can, because if this team isn't going to make a push and get into the playoffs, you absolutely want him available there. So we'll see.
One other Twins-related note, Olivia Dean, the singer, is in concert in Minneapolis tonight over at Target Center. It looks like last night she was at the Twins game.
Oh, nice.
So
why not, right? If you're in town?
On her Instagram page right now, in her Instagram story, she posted some pictures of her at the Twins game, and the Twins actually posted a picture also on their social media that says, Olivia Dean makes it so easy to ball in love. Because, her song of
Fallen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder, they do this, the celebrity lookalike bit.
Did they do?
I assume they had to, right? If they knew she was there.
I got to tell you, Olivia Dean, who I love her music, if this picture, if you're watching on our YouTube stream, I would not have picked her out of a lineup. I would say that is maybe a more attractive woman than you normally see in the press box. It appears that she's maybe in the press box in that photo. I don't know, but yeah. Would even the biggest fans, would you know?
I wouldn't.
I don't know.
I wouldn't have any idea.
She's wearing a Twins jersey. Yeah, I don't know. It's sort of funny. You think about the scenarios where you could run into one of your favorite pop stars, and would you know? Would you know?
Especially if they're trying
Out
to
of
be
context.
incognito,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
All right, I wanted to talk about the fact that in Minnesota, we have a massive problem when it comes to passing the driver's test. This is a fascinating story the Star Tribune had yesterday, and I was talking about it when I was over at Luther Kia of Bloomington today. I was talking to Dan Dingman about it, and he's like, I can't believe that so many people are failing their road test. Minnesotans failing their road test at the highest rate in 6 years. More than 1,700 took a behind-the-wheel exam 4 times last year and didn't pass. Nearly 40% of test takers need 2 or more attempts to pass. And so before you jump off to say, well, it's probably because now they let undocumented immigrants get, no, it's because kids are so freaking lazy that instead of taking the driver's test between the ages of 16 and 18, when you need to have gone to driver's ed, and parents need to have spent 50 hours in the car behind the wheel with young people. What kids are doing, according to testers at these testing stations, kids are waiting until they're 18. When you're 18, you don't have to have taken driver's ed. You don't have to have done any behind the wheel time. You can just come in and take the test. They're skipping driver's ed. They're missing out on the training. And to me, they're putting a lot of people at risk on the roads. Not that driver's ed is like going to medical school and there's some guarantee that you're now a PhD in zipper merging. But do you guys feel all right that there are thousands of people on the roads that have never had any sort of driver's ed, have never had any requirement to spend time behind the wheel with somebody who knows how to drive? I do not feel comfortable with this. I think the law has to change. You have to require driver's ed, and you should require it at up to 21. And I think, I don't know, maybe everybody needs a little bit of behind the wheel time. Maybe not. Now, I remember taking my kids for 50 freaking hours each kid. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of time. 50 hours is a ton. Would we be better off lowering that to 25 and maybe people would actually do it? I mean, my kids told me that everybody was lying anyway, that they, you know how kids are, who knows if they're telling the truth, but my kids were like, well, everybody else's parents are just forging the driver's log. It's like, well, I'm not forging the driver's log. The other thing the Star Tribune said is this: the number of people who have failed, that failure rate, and those for 18 and older, the failure rate is double that of 16-year-olds. So for the 18 to 20-year-olds, nearly half of who took a road test last year failed. Now, the numbers are about as bad for those 21 and over, so it's not just an 18 to 20-year-old phenomenon. But the people the Star Tribune interviewed, what they said is they're like, well, the reason we waited till 80 is because I didn't want the structure of a formal class. Like this quote, honestly, if you want like Gen Z distilled down to a quote that'll make you throw up a little bit, make you concerned about the kids today. Ugh. Name redacted, didn't take driver's ed because she didn't want to be forced to put in the prescribed number of practice hours, didn't want to take a structured class, wanted to feel out each step and approach it in the way that made sense for me. Here's a way that makes sense for you. You don't get a driver's license. It's crazy. Jeff is in Sauk Rapids. I don't know, Jeff, I don't know what we do about this, but it's craziness.
I don't know what we do about it either, because we have to undo a whole lot of things. I'm 73. I graduated from high school in 1970. I got my driver's license at 16, like usual. At that time, we had teachers that were doing driver's ed during the summers. And then we would go take our test.
Right.
And you get your driver's ed during the summer, done by teachers. They were certified by the state. And things went merrily along. Next thing you know, they're turning it over to the parents. Parents don't want to teach their kids.
Yeah. Yes.
And they're not good at it. I had 26 years in the school transportation industry, during which time I became what they called a third-party license examiner. That means I was certified by the state to give the commercial road tests. So I was a trainer. I was a trainer and a licensed examiner. My kids hated me. I made them learn to drive.
Yeah. Do you think
if they couldn't drive, they weren't going for a test, period.
Is the 50-hour bit too long? Is the 50-hour bit like, I just wonder if you'd have better success if you did it for 25 hours. You'd have more compliance, and extend that out to 20. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't recall how many hours.
Well, when I was a kid, it was zero. Like my parents never took me out driving, but we had driver's ed in school. So the first half of the semester was classroom, and the second half was behind the wheel.
Yeah, I don't recall how many hours we had when we had driver's ed in schools, but I can tell you it was effective. It was very effective.
Yeah, pretty good. Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it. I do think that this is a parents' issue. Like Emily on YouTube says, the parents are probably not actively helping people learn, and they're depending entirely on random instructors. What's happening is that there is evidence that the 16-year-olds are doing better. So even the 16-year-olds who are forging the driver's log, they're doing some. And the 16-year-olds who are lying about how many hours they spent behind the wheel, they did go through driver's ed. And what this says to me is that works. And by letting kids wait until they're 18 because they don't want to take the class, they don't want to do the behind the wheel, well, having them fail 4 times is preposterous because there's a cost to that. Other people can't get in to get an appointment. We're paying, we don't have enough driving examiners as it is. And the roads already feel like, good Lord, are you able to survive the drive from how idiotic people are on the road? Now, I mean, when it comes to driving, I have lots of concerns, right? You got the concerns about, I worry about older people too. I heard Chad earlier today saying maybe every 10 years you should have to go do a behind the wheel test. Now that would be incredibly expensive. We don't have enough testers to do the 16-year-old.
Yeah, just it.
You have to build a massive infrastructure. Exactly. So I do not agree with that idea.
I mean, I think in theory, it makes sense, right? Because you can't just say we got to test everybody over 70 to see if their skills decline. That's age discrimination. So make it an even 10 years and that, just evens and spaces everything out. So in theory, it's great, but practically it's just not possible.
Texter says, the reason I waited till I was 19 was my family couldn't afford the increase in insurance. Yeah, like my dad made me wait. I couldn't get my license on my 16th birthday. I had to wait until he renewed his insurance, like in May or June. And then I could get my license the day after he renewed it. So we'd have a 6-month. So he had basically 1 month or 1 year where he wasn't paying for me on his insurance. So I understand that. That's valid. But people who are skipping it just because they don't want to do the work, it's putting a massive strain on the system with all the failures. Not good. Enough is coming up next. It's your chance to gripe, to vent, to let it rip. Maybe you have had enough of Wiener Wednesday. Maybe you have enough of Anthony Fauci. Maybe you have your own driving complaint or gripe you want to get off your chest. 651-461-9226. Let's go. Line it up. I want to hear your complaints. We'll do that next.
Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Ethos.
Starbucks is hoping AI can help it replace software from Microsoft and IBM. Bloomberg reports that Starbucks is developing an AI-based alternative to Microsoft's inventory management system and IBM's maintenance management software. And that could potentially save the coffee chain around $400 million that it spends each year on software, with Starbucks planning to cut overall spending by $2 billion. I'm Jason Brooks.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Lisa Damuth, a Republican who delivers results.
And I led the charge in rooting out billions in fraud and waste.
To stop the fraud, you need a governor who won't back down. Lisa Damuth gets the job done. Lisa Damuth understands to make Minnesota affordable again, we must fight fraud. Lisa Damuth knows to create good-paying jobs for Americans, we must stop payments to illegal aliens.
I led the way to end taxpayer funding of health care for illegal immigrants.
In the legislature, Republican Lisa Damuth fought the fraudsters. Now, Lisa Damuth's running for governor.
Let's start our Minnesota comeback right here and right now.
America's PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising. Paid for by America's PAC and not authorized by any other candidate or committee. AmericasPAC527.com.
Let's make this summer your best summer ever. Jason here for Luther Kia of Bloomington, and Luther Kia Bloomington wants to upgrade your ride. Outstanding prices. $399 a month. Sign and drive lease offers on Seltos, Sportage, Nero, and K5. Get out of here. Plus $750 owner loyalty cash on the stunning Kia Telluride and the Telluride Hybrid. Best cars for the money on the market. Check out their brand new facility, now open at 35W and 494. Luther Kia of Bloomington.com.
Chad back here with you. I want to talk about trust and peace of mind. We all need it, in particular in some areas, including your insurance. Maybe it's for your business, or maybe it's more traditional with your house and your car. For me, I have trusted Amber Scholl and Associates with American Family for, what are you guessing, 5 years, 10 years? No. My entire family, whether it's my father or my kids, with American Family, with Amber in particular, for 30 years. We dread something bad happening with our house, with a car accident, but we need people with expertise, with professionalism and availability, and that's what Amber and her team are all about. Reach out to them today. It's worth it. Trust me. 651-738-4811.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Fresh clearing out of the way for you. West 94 and Radio Drive. All lanes have opened up. Things are running a little bit better now. If you're going to be traveling South 35E, get your slowdowns there as you move past Victoria Street, heading down toward Shepherd Road, traveling over on the west side of the Metro. North 100, got your slowdowns there from 62 heading up to 394. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
I love this time of year, and so do your Minnesota pork farmers. Pork turns up the flavor at every backyard hang. TasteWhatPorkCanDo.com has recipes galore. Get to the butcher shop and grocery store, and let's have Minnesota pork for dinner tonight. Oh, yeah.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Minnesota Pork Board, TasteWhatPorkCanDo.com, bringing us the weather forecast from Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
Another warm night tonight, only cooling back to 72 under a partly cloudy sky. We'll see more clouds tomorrow, more elevated smoke from those wildfires out west. 90 the afternoon high. Showers and thunderstorms will be racing across western Minnesota, likely not getting here till late tomorrow night. That rain lingers into Friday. That'll keep us cooler with a high near 80. We dry out this weekend, less humid, couple nice looking days with highs in the 80s.
It's toasty out there right now. Sunny in downtown Minneapolis. If you're going to Target Field, it's 90 degrees on CCO.
Drive Time with DeRusha.
I wish you weren't right, but you are.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore. I have had enough. Enough is enough. Enough.
Oh, get it off your chest. 651-461-9226. We want to know what you have had enough of this morning, because we're back in Maple Grove. You know, my life is a little confusing. Most of the time, we live at the apartment in downtown St. Paul. And Alyssa and I live together. This sort of sounds like we're having Jason's at the apartment, Alyssa's at, no. So we're in downtown St. Paul, but Sam just got back from summer internship in the Philippines. So last night we were back in Maple Grove, and in Maple Grove, I have a TV in the kitchen where I'm preparing for the show. So I, for the first time in months, watched Good Morning America and CBS This Morning, the Today Show. And after one day, I've had enough of outside political action commission ads, politics ads, PAC ads, candidate ads. Now, I love those ads on our radio station, but when the TV ads, it was unbelievable. Because there's two strains of ads. You have the other guy is the worst person in the history of the world. And then you have here's Jacob Fry trying to get you to vote for Angie Craig. And here's Tina Smith trying to get you to vote for Peggy Flanagan. And you're like, this is all we got? Could I get an ad for some milk or eggs or cars or something? I don't know. It was, it made me empathize with those of you who have to sit through this stuff all the time. So much. So many political ads. Dan and Blaine, you're at 651-461-9226. What have you had enough of?
Wussy teenagers, like you said, getting their licenses. And what I'm concerned about with them is the military down the road. Are we as the United States going to have a strong military if we don't have people enlisting? And if they don't want to get their licenses, they sure is not going to go into the military.
You're worried that the kids are soft.
Oh, are they ever?
Is it our fault? Is it the parents' fault? Did we screw this up?
Yes, 100%. 100%.
Where do you think it went wrong? Where do you think, do we feel like we were treated too toughly by our parents? I don't know that was.
Oh, no. I'm in my 60s, and I think that my generation was brought up, and we all think this correctly, but, my parents didn't, or my parents' generation didn't cave into all the little whimsical needs of all the kids in the family, iPads, phones, blah, let's pacify a kid, put a phone or a tablet in front of them instead of saying, go outside and drink from the hose. I'm one of those kind of guys now. I've turned into that, so I think we are too soft on our little kids. And it's kind of like everybody gets a star, everybody gets a participation medal, that stuff. Let's throw that aside. You're either a winner or a loser in a game. And if you're on the losing team, suck it up and learn from it. So I do believe we've raised wussy teenagers.
Thanks.
And one more thing. I kind of get a kick out of it because if you follow some of them and then you see them go out into the adult world and they have no clue how any social skills, nothing.
Yeah.
So I just worry about the future of the military and kind of our country in general, people that want to contribute to society. I'm also worried about my Social Security being there when I want it, because a lot of people don't want to work, or they want to be influencers. Influencers don't get you a 401k or.
Hey, watch it here, Dan. Like, let's not rip on it. That's too far. That's like a third of my income.
You could record that call and assign it to every generation throughout history complaining about the youngs.
What I do like about Dan's comments is that Dan did acknowledge that the blame is with the parents. I do think often when people are expressing their frustration with a younger generation, that the frustration gets misdirected. Because I believe if you're not happy with the way 16 to 20-year-olds are acting, you're really not happy with the way they were parented for the most part. Because kids aren't just deciding to be the way they are.
But we'd rather just be lazy and blame the kids.
It's your own fault. Most of the people who are complaining about it, it's you did it. This is why I never would take credit for my kids, and people try to give us credit. Like, oh, you guys must be great parents. I'm like, we're going to hold off on that.
TBD?
TBD. I don't know. We just did our best. That's all. But we did have guardrails. We did have rules. We did have my favorite is when the kids would complain about the referees, because after every game a kid loses, it's like the fan wine line on K-Fan after a game. It's always the refs trying to job you. It's not the refs. It's you. Did you play your hardest? Did you do your best? What percent of responsibility do you want to take? All right, let's keep the enoughs coming at 651-461-9226. Kids aren't as tough as they used to be. Same timeless trope as no one wants to work anymore.
Bingo.
I mean, kids, the other part of that's sort of interesting to think about, and this is a question I have no answer to. It's a fundamental question about the way we react to everything today, because the aberrations rise to the surface more. You get to see it more. So if you think kids aren't as tough as they used to be, well, I think you just used to not see the not tough kids. You know what I mean? Like today you see everything. You see everything. And so you see the things that annoy you, and you can choose to see the things that make you happy or not. I don't know. Texture says, anytime someone complains about today's children, ask them if they have any. I'm going to tuck that away. That's a great text. I mean, I will say, I was complaining a little bit about a Gen Zer earlier today, but that's an individual. It's not, you can't put everybody, as Mark says on YouTube, don't put all kids in one box. Yeah. It's a good question. Enough. What have you had enough of? Dan Cook's going to share what he's had enough of. Tons of good text coming in with things that you've had enough of. Keep it coming. I've had enough of this heat. I bet some of you love the heat. 651-461-9226. Drive time back in just a minute.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO. Now listen, you can get your news and info literally anywhere.
Fortune cookie?
It says avoid 494 unless your heart is pure.
My best friend's sister's boyfriend's brother's girlfriend heard from this guy who knows this kid who's going with a girl who says the governor controls snow days with a laser.
When my left knee hurts, it means breaking news. Right knee means somebody touched the thermostat.
Or you could learn what's really going on by staying right here. News, weather, traffic, and smart conversation from voices you know and trust. News Talk 830 WCCO.
Well, it's official. My friends have all switched to Pure Talk because I told them they could save a bunch of money on a super reliable high-speed network with unlimited data. And because they're my friends, they trust me. As for the rest of you, well, Pure Talk understands that even though you might like me, you're not just going to take my word for it, nor should you. For that reason, and for a very limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited plan that normally sells for $65 a month. Think of it like a test drive, a super simple way to save $150 while you kick the tires on Pure Talk's blazing fast network, and a fine way to see for yourself why I switched from big wireless, along with a few 100,000 of my closest friends. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and be connected to Pure Talk's friendly U.S. customer service team. Again, dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance. And now we're customizing this rush hour ad to keep you calm, which could help your driving. And science says therapy is great for a healthy mindset. So enjoy this 14-second session on us. I think you've done everything right and absolutely nothing wrong. In fact, anything that hasn't gone your way could probably be blamed on your father not being emotionally available because his father wasn't emotionally available, and so on. And now that you're calm and healing, you're probably driving better too.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Lockridge, and I'm the host of a new podcast from Odyssey called Family Lore. In this podcast, I'm going to have people on to tell unusual and sometimes far-fetched stories about their families.
I've heard my whole life that she invented the market.
That's a good bit is true.
He gets a patent 1 month before the Wright brothers. My God.
Please follow and listen to Family Lore, an Odyssey podcast, available now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your shows.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Fresh working off to the right side of 35W northbound as you head toward the Burnsville Parkway. It's kind of off the left side. Traffic is jammed up as you come up from County Road 42. If you're going to be traveling 52 northbound, that slows 94 from Plato Boulevard to 94. 394 eastbound, watching slowdowns there as make way past Penn Avenue into downtown, and 94 westbound, watching slowdowns there here on Boulevard into downtown Minneapolis. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Jordana Green here. I pray you and your family are always safe. But if there's ever a time where you need an advocate after an accident, let Mike Bryant of Bradshaw and Bryant help you. He will work with and for you in dealing with the insurance company. Call 800-770-7008 today. Bradshaw and Bryant, seeking justice for the injured.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
If you are going to the Olivia Dean concert tonight, right next to Target Field, or maybe you're going to the Twins game, it's going to be about 85 degrees. Yeah.
What's amusing, of course, our weather windows look out over onto 7th Street, which you can take all the way down to that general area, Target Field, Target Center. And you can tell which people are going to the Twins game and who's going to the concert.
I had to just play Dan a little. I mean, do you guys know Olivia Dean? Do you know this music?
Not really.
Here, I got to play it.
Gave you the time and the place, so don't be shy. Just come be the man I need. Tell me you got something to give.
I want it. Come on. Tomorrow 90 is the high. Friday rain and 80. It is 90 on CCO.
Drive time with DeRusha, where the conversation's always in drive. Thanks to Luther Kia of Bloomington on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Enough! All right, lots of texts coming in with what you've had enough of. Jason singing. That wasn't necessary.
It's not incorrect. But
651-461-9226. Next, I've had enough of the drought. I've had enough of detour. Yeah. Had enough of obnoxiously loud people at restaurants who know they are bothering the other customers. It sounds like a very specific situation. That is loud talker. Loud talker. Which is worse, a loud talker or a close talker?
Close talking. But I mean, neither of them are good.
I think that's right.
I'd rather have a loud talker than a close talker.
Dan, what have you had enough?
You know what I've had enough of, Jason? I've had enough of sweating.
Just sweating.
This heat has just been gross. And why you people that are all, it's summer, it should be as hot as it can be. This is great. No, all I do is walk around sweating all the time. It's gross. I hate it. Give me 10 below any day of the week over 90 and humid.
Just your dumbest take ever. That is
And I lean into it with my full chest.
so ridiculous. Your problem is you are not wearing enough breathable fabric.
No.
This is your problem.
Let me assure you,
You've got
the breathability
an undershirt.
of the fabric has nothing to do with it. Nothing at all.
You're currently wearing an undershirt.
I am, yes.
And you're wearing
button-down short sleeve shirt. Very
not breathable at all.
Well, you don't know that. No.
Get over here. I don't need a St. Paul mayor scenario.
Exactly.
I'm not going to touch your shirt.
HR.
I'm wearing shorts today. Very unusual for me. I'm not a big shorts guy.
I don't generally wear. I mean, I did on Monday, because it was so stinking hot. So I will occasionally, but no, not generally to work. I won't wear shorts. But I mean, when it's this gross outside all the time, it's just horrible. It's just horrible. We had the texter earlier who was complaining about a certain kind of sweat that I won't repeat. But
yeah, someone was very offended that I just referred.
Yeah, well,
you know what? We can talk about your Bojangles, okay? And we could use the real name. It's fine.
It's just fine.
I've had enough of this heat. That's common.
There you go.
Common texter.
They're with me. This is terrible.
This is a good one. I've had enough of people flicking lights like your high beams at you if you're not going 15 over the speed limit. I do not care for that. Now, I try to courtesy get out of the left lane.
That's the only thing, yeah.
But I will confess that sometimes I am the one pushing the speed limit.
Are you flashing bright lights at
No,
people?
hell no.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
So you're not that person.
But if I'm, say, for example, a hypothetical, if I were speeding.
Just saying.
If I'm speeding and someone is doing the speed limit in the left lane, I'm taking the L. I just have to suck it up is my view. I don't get to get mad at someone. If you're going under the speed limit.
Do you vent a little frustration audibly in the car? I mean, you're by yourself.
Maybe
you
a
can
sigh.
do that.
Maybe a sigh.
Really, that's
like
it?
Man. If you're going the speed limit, I feel like you're meeting your obligation. Now, am I going to, if I'm driving from here to Chicago, am I going to try to tailgate you a little bit? Maybe. Safely. I've had enough of drivers making left-hand turns at intersections that do not have a left turn lane. I understand that frustration, especially if you're a city driver. I think about this sometimes, because a lot of the city streets, it's just like a one-lane operation.
Yeah.
Like you're going down Hennepin, for example, maybe headed from downtown to uptown, and you want to turn left. Like you're going to head over to the Minneapolis Institute of Arts, MIA. So you're going to turn left on 26, or maybe you're going to turn left at the wedge. You want to go on the wedge. And you're like, do I want to be that jackass that I got to block traffic for all these people? Sometimes, yes. Texter says that we should ban left turns during rush hour. I don't mind that. You see those signs.
Yeah, they do that in some spots. Sure.
Texters, we used to have stoplights on the ramps to get on the speedway, on the freeway. We still have those, though.
Nobody uses them, but yeah, they're still there.
I always stop it. Do you not use those?
If there's not a line already formed, no.
Really?
Yeah. If there's a line formed, I mean, you just line up and go. But if there's not a line formed, no, just ignore them and go.
Paul says enough of people who like winter more than summer. Intelligent people know that summer is always
that has nothing to do with intelligence, sir.
I mean, Summer is better. Winter.
Not this summer.
Might be onto that. I've had enough of the drought. I'll tell you that much. Never had enough of Continental Diamond. Continental Diamond time check 5:57. Time to get to ContinentalDiamond.com. They're having a flash sale through August 1st, so get over there. Let's go, Twins!
You know that feeling when your body is tired, but your brain just